At home, before the party, Miao Jing happily put on the earrings Chun-Yi had bought her face full of happiness. In the car, Lao Hu told Chun-Yi that Lu Lai was also Boss Zhai's business. Even though there were many loud issues in the past, they eventually made it through safely. So no matter what the investigation team checks in Dengqing, Boss Zhai is still able to handle it. Then Lao Hu pulled out a box of top-tier wood ear tea and said that if it wasn't for the tax invoice investigation, he wouldn't be scared of any big shot. Hearing those words, Chun-Yi just gave a little smile, acting like he didn't know anything. In another scene, Captain Su took Lu Wen to work. When he found out that old Zhao from the tax bureau was personally in charge of investigating the tax evasion cases, he immediately got worried and told his wife to be very careful and call him right away if anything happened. According to him, investigating tax evasion is completely different from regular cases. If they clear it up, all of Dengqing will change. Lu Wen heard this and nodded seriously. Along the way, Lao Hu got out of the car to use the bathroom. While he was alone, Chun-Yi quickly opened the wood ear tea box and checked the invoices and papers hidden inside. A little while later, while playing pool with Boss Zhang, Chun-Yi suddenly asked if the recent events were related to the tax invoice case. Boss Zhang replied that Chun-Yi would find out about this sooner or later, but what did he mean by bringing it up at this time? Chun-Yi calmly said he didn't have big ambitions. He just hoped to open a beer shop with Ba Zi and earn a living on his own. Hearing that, Boss Zhang showed Chun-Yi the surveillance camera system that could record every corner of the karaoke bar and told him never to tell anyone about it. Then, he suddenly asked Chun-Yi if he remembered the first time they met. Chun-Yi said it was when he got jumped by a group of people after a soccer match and was saved by him. But Boss Zhang took out a watch and said that wasn't actually the first time they met. It turns out that years ago, the man shaking and hiding under a bridge who gave that watch to Chun-Yi to call for help was actually him. Boss Zhang personally put the watch on Chun-Yi's wrist and said it was proof of the bond between them. In Dengqing, almost everyone knows what this watch means, so in the future, no matter what Chun-Yi wants to do, it will help him have a smoother path. Right after that, Boss Zhang gave Chun-Yi a folder and said that Zhai Mao had invited him to a bar for a meal, probably because he wanted to get these documents. This was extremely important, so he could only feel safe giving it to Chun-Yi. At the graduation party, the classmates enthusiastically pulled Miao Jing onto the stage to sing a song. As soon as she started singing, the whole class sang along in a lively atmosphere, full of energy and beautiful school memories. Right after that, the class president walked up with a bouquet of red roses, gathering all his courage to express his feelings for Miao Jing. The sudden confession made her feel really awkward and uncomfortable. Meanwhile, in the next room, Boss Zhai saw the tax bureau people bring in the books and immediately told them to handle the papers very carefully. If they did a good job, they would get a lot of money. When Chun-Yi went outside, he happened to walk past the room where Miao Jing was having her party. At that exact moment, Miao Jing gently turned down the class president's confession because she already had someone she loved in her heart. Right after that, Miao Jing accidentally ran into Chun-Yi, so she immediately ran over to ask why he was there. Chun-Yi just smiled and said he was there to host some guests. Just then, Miao Jing's group of friends also swarmed over. The girls couldn't hide their surprise at how handsome Chun-Yi looked. At the same time, Boss Zhai stepped outside. Seeing Chun-Yi standing with the students, he immediately pulled out some money and gave it to him to treat his friends to food and drinks. Even though Chun-Yi refused many times, he still shoved the money into his hand and then staggered off. Looking at the people with Boss Zhai, who all looked like gangsters, Miao Jing couldn't help but worry. But Chun-Yi just gently reassured her that it was nothing, and then turned around to take Boss Zhai home. That night when Chun-Yi returned home, Miao Jing said her friends told her that Zhai Mao used to be famous for being aggressive, fighting for territory, and that he would do anything in the mining area. Hearing that, Chun-Yi just told her not to think too much. Things aren't necessarily like what she heard. Right after that, Chun-Yi went to the company to pack his clothes. Before that, he had told Boss Zhang that he wanted to go to Haiqing with Miao Jing for university. Boss Zhang also agreed and promised to step up and talk to Zhai Mao. The next morning, at the police station, Boss Qian came to see Captain Su and asked him to put together a summary report on Zhai Mao's activities over the last few years because the task force's investigation was almost finished. Hearing that news, Captain Su couldn't hide his joy because he knew the day they would take down this whole ring was very close. A cargo boat was stopped by the police and found to be full of fake alcohol. When he got the news, Boss Zhai was so angry he lost his cool because he understood the next step would pretty much corner him. When Boss Zhang showed up, Boss Zhai screamed that the money had already been moved to the port city. The project had stopped too, but the police still wouldn't stop targeting him. Boss Zhang whispered a few words in his ear, making Boss Zhai slowly calm down and breathe a sigh of relief. The next morning, while Chun-Yi was carefully trimming some sunflowers, Miao Jing came running back from the supermarket all excited, showing off that she had bought a lot of tissues, towels, and toothbrushes. Right then, the TV news reported that Quanxia Enterprise was suspected of serious tax violations and was under a joint investigation. Outside, there was a heavy storm with constant thunder and lightning, making Miao Jing feel restless. Her eyelid kept twitching like she had a bad feeling. Not feeling right about leaving her alone, Chun-Yi brought his blanket and pillow to her room and laid them on the floor to sleep next to her. Seeing that Miao Jing was too scared of the thunder, he ended up getting on the bed to lie with her so she would feel better. The two of them quietly looked at each other, and both their hearts were racing. Miao Jing softly wanted to give him a kiss, but Chun-Yi gently stopped her, saying that now wasn't the time yet. She then asked if he was hiding something from her. But Chun-Yi only promised that he would tell her everything later. Then they both hugged and fell asleep. Around 1 a.m., Chun-Yi's phone suddenly rang. He went outside to answer it, and by the time he came back, Miao Jing was awake. Because she had a bad feeling, she didn't want him to go out in the middle of a rainy and windy night. Chun-Yi only promised that he would be back by her side before the exam results were announced. Before he left, Miao Jing gave him an umbrella and cutely begged him to stay. Chun-Yi smiled and said they still had plenty of days ahead to be together, then gently told her to go to sleep. After Chun-Yi left, Miao Jing quietly wrote her thoughts in a notebook. She hoped she would soon become an adult, so she could stand by his side properly. She wasn't afraid of the future. She was just afraid it was coming too slowly. But just then, her computer suddenly had a glitch and stopped working. When Chun-Yi arrived, Boss Zhang said that if he were still at Guangxia, they wouldn't lack people, but this time only he could do it. He considered it asking Chun-Yi for one last favor. After this, he wouldn't stop him from going anywhere anymore. Having no other choice, Chun-Yi nodded and immediately went to the task force office as Boss Zhang told him. Meanwhile, since the home computer was broken, Miao Jing went to an internet cafe to wait until exactly 8 a.m. to check her college entrance exam scores. Many students and parents were already there early, but it was only 4 a.m. Miao Jing always hoped Chun-Yi would make it back in time to check the scores with her. While waiting, she quietly posted updates on social media to save the memories, thinking everything was finally getting better. Unexpectedly, a sudden fire broke out and threw everything completely off track. The headquarters of the city's Special Investigation Task Force suddenly caught fire. Miao Jing panicked and rushed toward the fire, determined to go into the flames to save Chun-Yi, but Captain Su held her back. A while later, the rescue team got Chun-Yi out safely. Right after that, he quietly changed Miao Jing's university choice, gave her a card with 80,000 yuan, and said he was too tired and they weren't going the same way. Miao Jing's eyes turned red. She couldn't accept those words. But Chun-Yi coldly stated that he never loved her. In total pain, Miao Jing slapped him and walked away in tears. After that, at the Jiaodong University dorm, Miao Jing lived in a daze like a ghost, her mind always elsewhere. The story then returns to the present in 2011. Chun-Yi kept trying to kick Miao Jing out, but she refused to leave, claiming this was her home too, and there was nothing wrong with her staying. Angry, Chun-Yi rushed into the room to pack her things and throw them away. But Miao Jing immediately challenged him, saying that if he dared to throw her things out, she would wear his clothes outside tomorrow. After saying that, she calmly took her suitcase into the room, leaving Chun-Yi standing there totally helpless. Entering his room and seeing things messy everywhere, Chun-Yi quietly cleaned it up himself. After taking the trash out and coming back, he accidentally caught Miao Jing in the bathroom wearing only her underwear. Blushing with embarrassment, he quickly looked away and told her to put some clothes on. Miao Jing just laughed and said they were both adults now, so there was no need to act innocent. Then she casually walked into the shower. With his mind in a mess, Chun-Yi could only open a beer to drink it off. When he saw Miao Jing sitting there drying her hair and looking so attractive, he got even more flustered, blushed, and hurried back to his room. Her return this time made it so he couldn't adapt at all. A moment later, Miao Jing walked out, about to light a cigarette. Chun-Yi was stunned, unable to understand why she had become this way. Miao Jing just calmly replied, 6 years have passed, and people eventually change. This is the future you chose for me, so are you satisfied? After saying that, she threw the whole pack of cigarettes into the trash, grabbed a can of soda, and went back to her room. Chun-Yi could only sink into pain silently. Standing in front of the mirror after a shower, looking at himself made him feel even more regretful and heartbroken. While Miao Jing was sitting in the room, she heard the wind blowing through the window, making the door bang against the frame over and over. Stepping out to close it, she accidentally saw Chun-Yi going somewhere. Going back inside, Miao Jing opened a box kept in the closet and froze. She saw her old phone was still kept by him. The next morning, Boss Z went to the beer shop and found that Chun-Yi had slept overnight there again. He kept asking what Miao Jing's goal was for returning this time. Chun-Yi just answered that she said she was back on vacation, but Boss Z didn't believe that explanation at all. When Chun-Yi took off his shirt, his back clearly showed countless bullet scars and knife wounds, like proof of the bloody time he had gone through. Meanwhile, Miao Jing went to Uncle Lu's shop to change the lock because the house lock had been broken by someone. Seeing how much she had changed, Uncle Lu was amazed and apologized for what happened years ago. In that fire back then, Miao Jing had begged him to open the door so she could rush in to save Chun-Yi, but he refused because the flames were too big. Going in was like asking for death. Now Miao Jing didn't hold a grudge anymore. She just paid up front and asked him to come change the house lock. At the beer shop, just as Chun-Yi got in the car to leave, Miao Jing immediately opened the door and sat in, insisting that he take her to the market to buy food because there was nothing left to eat in the house. Chun-Yi had no other choice but to go along with it. On the way, he changed his mind and told her to buy takeout instead because the home kitchen hadn't been used for a long time. Once they got back, Miao Jing found the kitchen light bulb was broken and was about to change it herself, but Chun-Yi took over the job. She was surprised to see that he wasn't afraid of electricity anymore. It's true that after 6 years, everyone has changed. Right after that, Chun-Yi lied and said he had a girlfriend. Miao Jing just calmly replied, asking if he really thought she came back just to chase him. Somewhere else, Boss Zhang and Boss Lu were playing pool while talking business. Hong Shen is getting ready to go public, and since Boss Zhang's company receives investment funds, it will definitely have to go through an audit. Boss Zhang just calmly said they just need to cooperate with the audit. Then Boss Lu pulled out a photo of Chun-Yi and asked if he knew this person. Boss Zhang smiled and confirmed that this was someone very close to him who had followed his brother to Jingguo in the past and had just returned. Boss Lu then said that if they wanted to expand business to Jingguo, they definitely had to get help from this big Buddha. Hearing that, Boss Zhang didn't expect that in just a few years abroad, Chun-Yi had built such a big reputation. After that, Chun-Yi called De Yong and Ba Zi out for drinks. He felt that Miao Jing's return this time was very unusual. Ba Zi could only give a forced smile, saying that back then, Chun-Yi was the one who hurt her, so now he couldn't blame her no matter what. According to him, Miao Jing was the one who deserved love more. Hearing that, Chun-Yi just quietly replied, "If she cares about me, then who will care about her?" Right at that moment, the henchman who had come to pick a fight at the beer shop brought Fai Long over to make peace, hoping to put the past behind them. Fai Long even offered to do business with Chun-Yi, promising to have his men look after the beer shop and only take 30% of the profit. However, Chun-Yi flatly refused, stating that the beer shop was built by him and his brothers together. The commission rates were already clearly set. Fai Long just gave a cold smile and reminded him that in this world, having one more friend is always better than having one more enemy. Right then, Lily, looking modern and beautiful, walked over to raise a glass with Fei Long. Seeing that, Fei Long started acting difficult, asking that if Chun-Yi wouldn't drink this glass, would Lily dare to drink it for him? Lily immediately picked up the glass to drink, but Chun-Yi quickly stopped her, asking Fei Long to stop forcing people. After saying that, he grabbed a bottle of white liquor himself and downed the whole thing. Seeing Chun-Yi finish the whole bottle, Fei Long had no choice but to leave in a huff. Right after that, Chun-Yi was so drunk he couldn't stop throwing up. Lily told Ba Zi to go call a car first. She didn't expect Chun-Yi to take the hit for her today. Chun-Yi just thanked Lily and told her to go home first. When the taxi arrived, Lily told Ba Zi and De Yong to take good care of Chun-Yi and then got in the car and left. When they got in front of the house, Chun-Yi refused to go inside because he was scared Miao Jing would see him totally wasted. He kept asking for water, so Ba Zi rushed over to a nearby convenience store to buy some. To his surprise, Ba Zi bumped into Miao Jing there buying beer and was shocked by how much she had changed. Knowing Chun-Yi was dead drunk, Miao Jing immediately headed back with Ba Zi. She re-added Ba Zi as a friend because she had changed her phone number a long time ago. Then the two of them helped Chun-Yi up to the house. Seeing Miao Jing's calm and cold attitude this time, both Ba Zi and De Yong felt that she had changed a lot from before. It took a lot of effort for Miao Jing to get Chun-Yi all the way up to the house. Seeing that he was still somewhat conscious, she was about to head back to her room to rest when Chun-Yi suddenly grabbed her hand. In his drunken state, he confessed that the reason he didn't want to come home was because Miao Jing was here and he had promised he wouldn't drink in front of her. Hearing those words, Miao Jing couldn't help but tear up. After waiting for Chun-Yi to fall asleep, Miao Jing gently put a blanket over him. Watching him sleep on the floor, she quietly looked back at the status updates she had written in the past. In her heart, she still held a grudge because years ago Chun-Yi broke his promise and didn't come back to check the college entrance exam scores with her. The next morning, Chun-Yi woke up with his head spinning from the alcohol. The first thing he did was look for Miao Jing, but she was nowhere to be found. After showering, he drove to the auto garage to ask Mr. Qian if the item he ordered was ready. Mr. Qian immediately went inside to get the item. Right at that moment, Chun-Yi accidentally saw Miao Jing looking at cars in the garage. He didn't understand what she was buying a car for. Miao Jing asked Xiao Li to help her change the original license plate to a new name because her household registration wasn't in Dengxing, and she was afraid the paperwork would be too much trouble. Seeing Mr. Qian come out with a new law core, Chun-Yi quickly pulled him aside to prevent Miao Jing from finding out he was there. After getting the items, he left immediately, feeling surprised because it seemed Miao Jing intended to stay in Dengxing for a long time. Chun-Yi asked Ba Zi what it means if someone buys a car right after arriving in a new city. Ba Zi replied that it proves the person wants to stay for the long haul. Hearing that, Chun-Yi could only sigh because Miao Jing wouldn't tell him a single honest word now. Ba Zi advised him to just ask her directly since Miao Jing wasn't a hard person to talk to, but Chun-Yi didn't even have a way to contact her, which left Ba Zi speechless. Seeing Chun-Yi quietly staring at Miao Jing's profile, Ba Zi quickly hit the friend request button, making Chun-Yi furious at his nosy habit. When Miao Jing messaged back asking who it was, Ba Zi just chuckled, while Chun-Yi thought she was teasing him on purpose. Back home, Miao Jing saw the table set with all her favorite foods and smiled, asking why he cooked exactly to her taste. Chun-Yi just told her to wash her hands and eat. During the meal, he asked where she went today, and Miao Jing lied, saying she went to a bar. Chun-Yi obviously didn't believe it, and asked why she didn't use his car during her vacation instead of buying a new one. Hearing that, Miao Jing immediately realized he had been following her and asked straight out if he saw her at the car market, and then rushed home to cook just to fish for info on when she would leave. Finally, she asked if he was hiding or if he was truly scared of her. Chun-Yi only replied that the two of them weren't suited to live together anymore. But Miao Jing didn't care at all, calmly asking him to fix the window and replace the toilet because the smell kept her from sleeping. After hearing that, Chun-Yi left in frustration. Annoyed, he was about to light a cigarette but then stopped. Meanwhile, Miao Jing casually sat and ate alone. A while later, she texted Chun-Yi to come back and wash the dishes because she had cut her hand. Reading the text, he still didn't go back right away, wandering the streets until late because he was shy about facing her. When he stepped into the house, Miao Jing called out from her room that she didn't come back here because of him. Chun-Yi could only sigh and quietly took the dishes to wash. While he was in the kitchen, Miao Jing walked over acting clingy, complaining that the wound on her hand hurt so much it was peeling. Chun-Yi sighed softly and said, "This place is small, it can't compare to Haicheng. If you feel miserable, you should go back early." But Miao Jing firmly stated that she wouldn't let herself feel miserable. After saying that, she went back into her room and turned the music up really loud, leaving Chun-Yi feeling helpless and sighing quietly. The next morning, Bazi didn't understand why Miao Jing didn't call a repairman to fix the house but insisted on making Chun-Yi do it himself. Chun-Yi just let it be, thinking that no matter what Miao Jing planned, he would go along with it. Bazi couldn't help but remark that the girl who used to be like a little rose had now become a rose full of thorns. Chun-Yi then asked Bazi to find an excuse to stay at his house, so he could easily find a higher-end apartment for Miao Jing, but Bazi refused right away because he already had a girlfriend now. After buying the supplies, Chun-Yi returned to fix the window in Miao Jing's room. While working, he was nervous because he was afraid she would think of some way to tease him again. Seeing Miao Jing secretly watching him, he ordered her to pour him a glass of water. Right then, Bazi ran over in a panic to report that after a fire safety inspection, the higher-ups said the observation window of the private room in the shop didn't meet the standards. Fei Long even specifically wanted to see Chun-Yi, or else he would call the police, clearly trying to stir up trouble on purpose. Hearing that, Chun-Yi had to tell Miao Jing he had to go out for a bit. At the beer shop, Fei Long was having his men trash the place, while the Yong was pinned down on a pool table. At that moment, Chun-Yi and Bazi showed up and immediately rescued the Yong. Fei Long demanded that Chun-Yi talk while playing pool. When Chun-Yi wanted to get straight to the point, Fei Long brought up the matter of contributing shares. Seeing Chun-Yi flatly refuse, he immediately hinted that if he kept going against the higher-ups, life would be very hard because he had backing, while Chun-Yi was all alone. Without saying another word, Chun-Yi slammed the pool cue hard into the chair Fei Long was sitting on, making him jump and turn pale. He pressed the cue hard against him and coldly warned that if he dared to call the fire department, he would report him to the building management. By then, no one would be left in peace. Fei Long was so scared he started crying, only able to mention that he had a Buddha statue backing him up, but Chun-Yi still didn't flinch. Just then, Ba Xiang walked in, and Chun-Yi finally realized the person behind Fei Long was actually him. Fei Long and his gang immediately ran off shaking. Ba Xiang just calmly said he was passing by, so he stopped in for a visit, then left with his assistant. Outside, Miao Jing was buying incense when she accidentally saw Ba Xiang walking out of the beer shop. From the shop owner, she learned that Chun-Yi had gone away to do business for many years without any word and only recently returned. After finishing cleaning the beer shop, Chun-Yi went back home. As soon as he walked in and saw the bunch of incense on the table, he immediately understood that Miao Jing knew about what happened at the shop. She offered him a Coke, but he refused, only quietly continuing to fix the window. Miao Jing suddenly asked him when he had returned to Dengqing. Why was his relationship with Zhang Xin so distant now, and who had he really been following for the past 2 years? Hearing that, Chun-Yi stopped dead, accidentally letting the screwdriver cut his hand, making it bleed. It was late at night, but Miao Jing still hadn't come back, making Chun-Yi really worried. Even though he was restless, he didn't have the guts to text her and check in. It wasn't until the next morning, while Chun-Yi was brushing his teeth, that Miao Jing finally got home. Seeing her come home late all the time lately, he couldn't help but wonder why, but Miao Jing didn't bother to explain. The next day, things got even more confusing for Chun-Yi when Miao Jing didn't get home until almost 4 a.m. He had no idea what kind of work she had been busy with lately. The next morning, Miao Jing stopped by an incense shop again, but she was actually there to secretly watch Chun-Yi's beer shop. After buying it, she coldly walked past him like a stranger, leaving Chun-Yi just standing there watching her walk away with a bunch of questions in his mind. That evening, Bazi told Chun-Yi that the students who usually came to the shop started buying on credit, making this month's revenue drop to only half of what it was last month. Right then, Wan Xing showed up at the shop to learn how to play pool. Chun-Yi was totally surprised to find out that the girl Lao Yang often talked about was actually Wan Xing, seeing a Yang carefully teaching Miao Jing every shot. Chun-Yi immediately got jealous. He didn't want anyone getting close to or touching her, so he tried to find a way to call her out for a talk. However, Miao Jing thought the lesson had just started, after she had already spent an hour on a surgery before that. So finally, Chun-Yi decided to be her coach himself. Miao Jing had the sharp beauty of a mature woman, but still kept a playful and proud vibe. Her shots were getting more accurate, while Chun-Yi's pool skills were already known to be top-notch. After a tense match, Chun-Yi was the winner. Only then did Miao Jing agree to follow him outside. Outside the shop, the two of them kept arguing. Chun-Yi thought Miao Jing was doing everything on purpose to annoy him, while she insisted that he was the one who always had a problem with her. The more Chun-Yi talked, the more frustrated he got because she kept stubbornly showing up in front of him, making his heart feel all mixed up. On the other hand, Miao Jing stayed calm and didn't care at all. She just wanted him to drive her home. But since Chun-Yi didn't plan on driving her home, she just caught a taxi and left him behind. He just stood there and sighed because she was so stubborn. The next morning, Bozzy couldn't help but laugh when he saw Chun-Yi had slept at the beer shop again. He didn't think a guy like Chun-Yi, who isn't afraid of anything, would be so cautious around that stubborn sister. Right when Chun-Yi was about to eat breakfast, someone showed up. It turned out to be Captain Su and his team coming to check the business license and fire safety papers. They said people complained that there were groups causing trouble at the shop, so they wanted to check if it was true. Chun-Yi explained that it was just a business disagreement that led to an argument, not a bunch of people gathering to cause trouble. Once they checked all the papers and saw everything was in order, Captain Su and his team left quickly. Right after that, Bozzy invited Chun-Yi over to his place for dinner. He planned to happily show off her cooking and treat Chun-Yi once they moved into their new home. But instead, Chun-Yi asked Bozzy to find him a real estate agent because he wanted to rent out the house he was living in as soon as possible. Not long after, Chun-Yi met Manager Su. Manager Su was honest and said since the house was in an old neighborhood, the rent wouldn't be as high as he might want. But Chun-Yi didn't care about the price. He just wanted to find a tenant as fast as he could. At home, Miao Jing was trying to fix a leaky faucet when Manager Su showed up and said Chun-Yi had asked him to come take a look at the place. Hearing that, Miao Jing knew right away that Chun-Yi was trying to kick her out. So instead of fighting it, she was super helpful and invited Manager Su inside. She patiently showed him every room and carefully pointed out both the good and bad things about the house so he would know exactly what was going on. Meanwhile, Chun-Yi just stood downstairs all nervous, not wanting to go up. Seeing Miao Jing being so unusually helpful, he felt even more confused and had no idea what she was secretly planning. After Manager Su finished checking every part of the house with Miao Jing, Chun-Yi finally went inside and was shocked to see her crying. He thought she was sad about leaving Haiqing and dealing with so much trouble here, so he was planning to rent a different place for her somewhere else. But the truth was totally different. Miao Jing was only crying because the storage room was so dusty that dust got in her eyes and all over her. Then she explained that she just wanted to help Chun-Yi negotiate so the house could be rented out at a better price. Right at that moment, two real estate agents that Miao Jing had reached out to herself also showed up. She kept enthusiastically introducing the house, hoping to help Chun-Yi get the highest price possible. Chun-Yi just stood there dazed, while Manager Su laughed because he realized at this time, Chun-Yi completely couldn't handle it. What made Chun-Yi even more stuck between laughing and crying was that Miao Jing told the two big agents that he wanted to sell the house, not rent it. Even Manager Su took the chance to offer to buy the house himself, which gave Chun-Yi such a headache that he could only leave everything to Miao Jing to handle herself. After talking to the agents, Miao Jing went back inside and told Chun-Yi that there was a customer coming to see the house. She also mentioned that both sides had agreed on a price of 4,800 yuan per square meter. The buyer would pay 50% up front, and since they didn't need any of the furniture in the house, she had already hired people to move it out. Hearing that, Chun-Yi immediately got angry because she made the decision to sell the house on her own without telling him. While Chun-Yi was still questioning her, Miao Jing suddenly found a photo of herself kept in a dresser drawer. Seeing that, Chun-Yi just said it was her stuff, so she should deal with it herself. Without any hesitation, Miao Jing took the photo to throw it away, making Chun-Yi immediately run after her and snatch it back. He quickly made up an excuse that randomly throwing away photos would bring bad luck, then took the chance to ask her straight out what her plan really was. That's when Miao Jing revealed that after losing her job, she had no source of income left. Since she wanted to help Chun-Yi sell the house, she just hoped he would give her a share of the money. Hearing this, Chun-Yi finally found out she had quit her job. After a moment of silence, he immediately changed his mind, deciding not to sell or rent out the house anymore and let Miao Jing stay as long as she wanted. The successful plan made Miao Jing extremely excited. That evening, Chun-Yi asked again why she had quit her job. Miao Jing just explained that she was too tired and wanted to rest for a while. Plus, at her old job, she had no family nearby and the rent was too expensive, so the only way was to come back here. After hearing that, Chun-Yi's heart softened even more, and he took the lead to let her keep staying in this house for as long as she wanted. Seeing his attitude change, Miao Jing couldn't hide the joy in her heart. Before starting the day, Chun-Yi dressed up nicely and went with Bozzy to a cafe to meet Boss Su. As soon as they met, he didn't forget to say thanks because Boss Su's help last time saved him from a lot of trouble. Then, Chun-Yi handed over Miao Jing's resume to ask him to look it over. Just with a quick glance, Boss Su remembered that Miao Jing was the girl who asked him to check her exam scores years ago. He happily agreed to help but warned beforehand that whether she gets hired or not still depends on her own ability. Just getting that promise made Chun-Yi feel very grateful. On the way back, Bozzy kept teasing Chun-Yi, saying he's the type who always says the harshest things but in the end never abandons Miao Jing, even staying up all night to work on her resume. Chun-Yi just softly replied that Miao Jing being alone in Haiqing definitely wasn't easy. Taking care of her isn't the problem, but the more important thing is helping her get a steady career so she can take care of herself. Meanwhile, Miao Jing went shopping for furniture for the apartment. After picking everything out carefully, she bought a sofa, a coffee table, and a new cabinet. That evening when Chunyi got home, he was totally surprised to see the whole room completely changed to fit Miao Jing's taste. Knowing she had spent a lot of money, he immediately gave her cash to pay her back, and Miao Jing just calmly took it. Right after that, Chunyi went and bought a ton of food, stuffing the fridge with the intention of feeding Miao Jing up so she gained some weight. After carefully washing some fruit, he brought it in for her to eat. But Miao Jing pulled him over and made him open the assembly manual so she could put the furniture together herself. By the way, Chunyi also told her that tomorrow he would take her to meet a friend because his company was hiring. Hearing that, Miao Jing happily agreed. The next morning, Miao Jing dressed up professionally and went to the company for the interview. She introduced herself as having worked in auditing from internal to independent audits and having joined many projects, both big and small. However, when she made a pretty high demand for salary and bonuses, the company immediately rejected her. Later, Boss Su told Chunyi the result and promised that if his friend's company had a better fitting position later, he would recommend Miao Jing. Chunyi sincerely thanked him. Right then, Miao Jing walked up, and Boss Su smiled, commenting that she was truly well cared for by this older brother. After saying that, he excused himself to go to a meeting. Chunyi also comforted Miao Jing, telling her that if she hadn't found a suitable job yet, she could just stay home for a while. Miao Jing obediently agreed, but he had no idea that it was all her plan to get more chances to stay by his side longer. After that, Chunyi went to the beer shop and announced to everyone that the shop was closing. Today was the last day of operation, so all table fees would be free. This news left Yong and Buzzy totally surprised. Chunyi went on to announce his plan to turn the place into a professional snooker academy while completely banning smoking and alcohol. Hearing that, many customers who were playing immediately left in a huff. Next, Chunyi told Yong, Buzzy, and the two coaches that it was up to them if they wanted to stay or leave. But from now on, taking tips on their own was strictly banned because the shop would be run properly and professionally. The two coaches heard this and quit right away. De Young didn't understand what Chunyi was planning. While Bozzy thought they could hire new staff anytime, the only thing they really lacked was someone to manage the books. Not long after, the pool hall was officially renovated into a professional snooker training center. Chunyi, Bozzy, and De Young went out every day to hand out flyers to promote it, hoping many people would learn about the shop's new model. In another development, Miao Jing visited a logistics company and was very surprised by how much the express delivery industry had grown. In her childhood memories, there were only post offices, but now the delivery network covered everywhere. An employee also mentioned that in the early 2000s, the industry was very basic, but now it has totally exploded. After hearing that, Miao Jing immediately used her phone to take pictures of everything inside the company as if she were secretly investigating something. Once she got what she needed, she quietly left. While the nail salon had a power outage, Xian ran to Lily in tears, complaining that their contract would expire next month, yet the management only asked their specific shop to close, not the other stores. Lily tried to call Chunyi right away, but couldn't reach him, so she went to handle it alone. In front of the management, she flatly declared that her boyfriend was Chunyi from the old quarter, which left everyone stunned. After that, Lily and Xian went to check out other spaces to get ready to rent. Xian couldn't help but remark that with Chunyi backing them up, no one dared to make things difficult. On the way, Xian also mentioned hearing a rumor that Chunyi was bringing a new girl home to live with him. Lily guessed that some girl was probably throwing herself at him, but she still felt uneasy, so she decided to go to the house to see who it was. When Miao Jing had just returned, Lily immediately acted high and mighty, saying she saw plenty of girls like her every year, but the only person who could stay with Chunyi for the long haul was her. Hearing that, Miao Jing just gave a little chuckle and calmly invited Lily inside to talk. As soon as they sat down, Lily sarcastically said that knowing Chunyi has a girlfriend but still sticking around is pretty shameless. However, she also admitted Miao Jing was different from the girls before. Because her look was so innocent and clean, it felt refreshing. Finally, Lily advised Miao Jing to stop dreaming about things that would never happen. Miao Jing calmly asked back that since Chunyi wasn't in Dengqing before, where do they meet and fall in love? Lily then told her that 3 years ago on the street behind the beer shop, she was being harassed by some thugs, and Chunyi saved her. From then on, they got to know each other. After saying that, Lily intentionally showed off the gold ring on her hand, claiming Chunyi bought it as a gift just to mark her territory against Miao Jing. Right then, Chunyi returned home. Seeing Lily sitting and talking with Miao Jing, he was totally surprised. Miao Jing handed back some things Lily had forgotten and calmly introduced herself as Chunyi's sister, which left Lily stunned because she had never heard him mention this before. Then, Chunyi seriously told Lily not to bring up the past with Miao Jing and reminded her of the agreement between them to stay away from Miao Jing in the future. Hearing that, Lily could only nod in agreement. Right after that, Chunyi went up to the room to explain to Miao Jing that Lily only stayed over occasionally. Miao Jing immediately asked back, if she's his girlfriend, why do they sleep in separate rooms? Chunyi could only say that the relationship between him and Lily wasn't what she thought. After hearing that, Miao Jing didn't say another word and quietly went back to her room. The next morning, Miao Jing went to the sports center to play badminton and happened to run into Elan. After chatting for a bit, they decided to play a match to catch up on old times. Meanwhile, Chun-Yi, Ba-Zi, and De-Young were still busy decorating the shop to get ready for the opening. When it was time to go home, Ba-Zi realized he forgot his keys, so he called Li Qiao. From the call, the group found out Miao Jing was at the sports center playing badminton. Hearing that, Chen-Yi immediately used getting the keys as an excuse so he could go see her. After finishing a match, Miao Jing congratulated Elan because she was now an official at the Development and Reform Commission. Elan also shared that moving back to Dengxing to grow isn't a bad idea because there are a lot of helpful policies and many new industries popping up, with the Haoyun Transport Company being the most prominent business right now. Just then, Chen-Yi arrived and saw Miao Jing happily catching up with her classmate. He didn't want to bother her, so he just watched from a distance. Li Qiao explained that Miao Jing didn't have a date today, she just ran into Elan by chance. When Chen-Yi walked over, Miao Jing turned to Elan and said that he was the person who stood her up. Hearing that, Chen-Yi was totally shocked because he remembered clearly that they didn't have a date at all. Right after that, Chen-Yi and Miao Jing played a badminton match. During the game, he asked why she used him as an excuse, but Miao Jing just told him to focus on the game first. Chen-Yi kept asking if she wanted Elan to find her a job or if she was planning to move out because of Lily. Just then, Miao Jing accidentally slipped and fell, scraping her knee. Chen-Yi immediately ran to help her and told her to go to his beer shop so he could clean the wound. Miao Jing nodded and agreed. Seeing Chen-Yi bring Miao Jing to the shop, Ba-Zi pulled De-Young away to give them some private space. While carefully putting medicine on her wound, Chen-Yi explained that he and Lily were definitely not lovers. Then he offered for Miao Jing to come to the shop to help him manage the books. Miao Jing set a condition that she only wanted an easy job, nothing that would give her a headache, and the salary had to be very attractive, which made Chen-Yi laugh. Just then, someone came to find Chen-Yi and told Miao Jing to go rest in the back room first. When she walked into his room, Miao Jing accidentally found a box of antidepressants. At the same time, Boss Zhang's secretary came to announce that the boss wanted Chen-Yi to help with a small favor and invited him to get in the car to meet. Chen-Yi went to get his cue stick and told Miao Jing he had something to do. After seeing the antidepressants, Miao Jing immediately called Elan for a favor. Right after that, she caught a taxi to Xiating to meet Boss Zhang, but she was blocked by bodyguards because she didn't have an invitation. Besides, Boss Zhang had also gone out to welcome a special guest. Just then, Boss Yao walked out, and the bodyguards had to take him to his car, so Miao Jing took the chance to quietly slip inside. As soon as she walked in, she saw Chen-Yi sitting next to Boss Zhang, thinking he was lying to her again. Miao Jing called right away and said she was at the abandoned factory where they used to collect scrap as kids, and that she was hurt, telling him to come pick her up. As soon as he heard she was hurt, Chen-Yi immediately asked Boss Zhang for permission to leave because of an emergency, and then sped to the old factory. Once there, Chen-Yi realized Miao Jing wasn't hurt at all. She just said she lost the earrings he had given her. Hearing that, he couldn't help but ask if it was worth doing all this just for a pair of earrings, but he still bent down to help her look. Miao Jing calmly replied that it was totally worth it, then asked Chen-Yi back that he always told her to move on, but has he really let go of the past to move on himself? Those words made Chen-Yi go silent. Just then, Miao Jing took the earrings out in front of him. It turned out that from start to finish, she had just intentionally tricked him into coming here. Chen-Yi looked at her and softly asked if she really hated him that much. Miao Jing didn't hesitate and coldly admitted that it was true. When they got home, Miao Jing asked Chen-Yi to put a patch on her shoulder because it was aching. Chen-Yi just gently said that she could torture him however she wanted, but she shouldn't make herself suffer. The next morning, seeing Chen-Yi had a fever, Ba-Zi teased him, saying it must be because he chased Miao Jing in the rain last night that he ended up in this state. He also thought Miao Jing knew about the thing between Chen-Yi and Lily, so she was jealous. It's true that when there's a lot of love, there's a lot of hate. However, Chen-Yi didn't even bother to reply and just closed his eyes to rest. Right after that, Ba-Zi asked Miao Jing out to eat with the goal of advising her to let go of her obsession so her life could take a new turn. He thought that if she kept staying in the past, the one who would get hurt in the end would just be her. Plus, Chen-Yi already has a girlfriend. Even so, Miao Jing didn't care at all. Just then, Lily appeared and invited Miao Jing to hang out. Seeing that, Ba-Zi was very surprised and immediately called to tell Chen-Yi. Lily took Miao Jing to a clothing store to shop, and then she invited her for sweet soup. Unfortunately, Lily accidentally spilled the sweet soup on Miao Jing, so she hurried to use a napkin to help her. Xian happened to see the two standing next to each other and misunderstood that Chen-Yi's new flame had come looking for trouble. Taking advantage of the moment Lily went to throw away the napkin, Xian stepped up to question Miao Jing, asking who she thought she was to make Lily act so humble and follow her like that. Just then, Chen-Yi appeared and asked why everyone wasn't at the shop and what they were doing here. When Lily came back, she immediately told Miao Jing not to mind what was just said. When Xian found out Miao Jing was actually Chen-Yi's sister, she apologized right away and hurried off. Then Chen-Yi turned to ask Lily why she said she was at the shop but was actually here. Lily was flustered and didn't know how to explain, so she just stayed silent. Seeing the atmosphere get awkward, Miao Jing took the lead and told everyone to get in the car to end the conversation. In the car, Lily took the lead and apologized to Chen-Yi for what happened before. She admitted she was too impulsive wanting to apologize to Miao Jing, and she didn't expect it to make the misunderstanding between everyone even deeper. Seeing that Chun-Yi still had a cold, Lily didn't forget to remind him to take all his medicine. Sitting in the back seat, Miao Jing also advised Lily to keep pursuing dancing because it really suited her. After dropping Miao Jing off at the house, Chun-Yi seriously told Lily that their relationship was just a mutual benefit thing. They had already agreed not to meddle in each other's private lives, and if she didn't want to cooperate anymore, they could stop. When Chun-Yi got back, Miao Jing asked why he was against her meeting Lily. Chun-Yi just explained that he didn't want Lily bothering her life. Right after that, Chun-Yi found out his umbrella was at Boss Zhang's company. Over here, Boss Zhang also told Su Meng that whether the cooperation with Boss Lu succeeded or not depended on Chun-Yi, and he demanded that they welcome the audit team carefully and absolutely not let any mistakes happen in the Hongshan project. Later, Chun-Yi went to the pool hall to check on the business, and to see the office he had asked Boss Z to prepare specifically for Miao Jing. At that moment, Boss Zhang's person brought back a golf club to return to him. 2 days ago, at a party, Boss Zhang told Boss Lu that now that Chun-Yi was back, the road ahead for both of them would be wider and wider. They would share all the risks together. As long as Chun-Yi was here, everything would be fine. Hearing that, Boss Lu also agreed to cooperate. Right when everyone was raising their glasses to celebrate the successful cooperation, Chun-Yi's phone suddenly rang. He immediately stood up and went outside to answer the call. That action made Boss Zhang show his annoyance. At that moment, Chun-Yi called Miao Jing, but she didn't answer. Right after that, De Yong called to report that Miao Jing was at the Haoyun transport station. Hearing the news, Chun-Yi immediately drove there, and sure enough, he saw she was there. He walked up and reminded Miao Jing not to just skip his calls like that anymore. When she saw Chun-Yi was running a fever, Miao Jing immediately got him into the car and explained that this was a company car, then drove him home. As soon as they got home, she made him put a thermometer in his mouth to check his temperature and apologized for letting him get caught in the rain. Chun-Yi asked Miao Jing if her new job had good benefits, and she smiled and said everything was totally fine. Then, Miao Jing slowly reminded him that she used to dream of a future where she'd stay in Dengxing with him to open a pool club, living simple but happy days. She always remembered the promise from years ago that they would be together forever. Hearing those words, Chun-Yi couldn't hold back his feelings and quietly hugged Miao Jing from behind, causing the thermometer to accidentally fall to the ground. The two of them carefully cleaned up the mercury together, dropped it into water, and stared at it in silence, as if they were both lost in their own memories. Right after that, Miao Jing went to Haoyun Transport Company as a vice team leader to meet Boss Tao. She reported that the port city side was constantly pushing for progress, and if things took any longer, mistakes would easily happen. However, if the work environment was more stable, progress would definitely speed up. Hearing that, Boss Tao immediately promised to sort everything out soon. After that, Miao Jing called Chun-Yi and asked him to help take her stuff home. Chun-Yi could only sigh, complaining about what kind of company doesn't even have a permanent office yet. Miao Jing explained, the new office isn't finished yet, so everyone can only work here for now. After hearing that, Chun-Yi took her to a shoe store and personally picked out a pair of really comfortable shoes for her to wear every day. At that exact moment, Miao Jing was there too. Seeing her show up, Lily immediately grabbed Chun-Yi's arm. His first reaction was to quickly pull his hand away, clearly not wanting Miao Jing to get the wrong idea. After that, the ribbon-cutting ceremony went smoothly, and Lily's nail salon officially opened for business. A little while later, Chun-Yi called Lily to a corner for a private talk, reminding her to keep her distance from him from now on. Lily brought up their old deal that Chun-Yi would act as her boyfriend to protect her, while she would help him avoid unwanted attention. Plus, next week, she had to go to a dinner with the building management. Hearing that, Chun-Yi said she should go, and he would show up too. Meanwhile, Lily went back to the shop and did Miao Jing's nails herself. While working, she asked if Chun-Yi had been getting close to any other girls lately, and Miao Jing just smiled and said there was no one but her. At the end of the week, Miao Jing suddenly got a notification about an online meeting, so she had to go into the office. That made Chun-Yi really annoyed because she was always getting sucked into work. While taking Miao Jing's laundry to wash, Chun-Yi accidentally found out she was working at Haoyun. At dinner, he immediately asked why she chose to work there. According to him, just the fact that she had to work overtime every day was proof enough that it wasn't a decent company. Miao Jing just calmly replied, work is the same everywhere. If one day I really can't stand it, I'll go to the beer shop and work for you. After saying that, she went back to her work. Seeing this, Chun-Yi immediately called Boss Zhang to find out what was going on. On the festival day, Chun-Yi and Miao Jing walked around the lively scene together. When Miao Jing wanted to return the favor for an old prayer, Chun-Yi initially wanted to go see a play first. But seeing how much she wanted to, he took the lead, grabbed her hand and took her there. Watching Chun-Yi pray sincerely, Miao Jing couldn't help but remember the time before everything went wrong, when she was still safe by his side. Then she was the one who grabbed Chun-Yi's hand and went with him to see the play. After the play, Miao Jing asked Chun-Yi to take her to the company because work had been so busy lately. Right after that, Chun-Yi met Boss Zhang's secretary for a meal and asked if Haoyun was hiring. The secretary said that lately, Haoyun had indeed hired many new people, but they weren't hired directly by the company. They were sent over by the Port City Group. It seemed they were mostly accounting staff. At the nail salon, When the shipment arrived, AXIN found out the actual products didn't look like the pictures at all. Seeing this, Lily immediately asked the seller for a refund. But the other side brought out the contract and claimed the money was a deposit, not a down payment, so it couldn't be returned. AXIN was extremely angry because she knew she had been scammed out of a lot of money. Not knowing what to do, AXIN went to Miao Jing for help. After hearing the whole story, Miao Jing calmly promised to get it sorted in just 3 days. Knowing AXIN had gone to Miao Jing for help, Lily couldn't help but worry. She was scared that if that supplier went straight to Miao Jing's company to cause trouble, things would get even messier. Right then, the person selling the facial massagers reached out and asked Lily to meet at a coffee shop. At first, Lily thought about calling Chen Yi, but then she changed her mind and decided to meet the person by herself. But things weren't nearly as dangerous as she imagined. Miao Jing was already there, and she forced the seller to give Lily all her money back. After paying up, the guy kept begging Miao Jing to drop the lawsuit. Lily was really grateful for Miao Jing's help. But Miao Jing just said softly, "It was no big deal. You don't owe me anything." She also told Lily that if anything like this happened again, she should just take it to court. All she needed was her ID to get the paperwork started. Hearing that, Lily realized how important a good education really was and felt bad that she didn't take school seriously before. Before they left, she asked Miao Jing not to tell Chen Yi about any of this. Miao Jing agreed and hopped in a taxi to head out. On her way home, Xiaoyu called to say that Ding Lei was pressuring the whole team to hurry up and hand in the report draft. After hearing that, Miao Jing went straight back to the office and stated clearly that the confirmation process for big payments and the year-end closing checks weren't done yet, so no one could guarantee the quality of the draft. Because of that, she flat out refused to sign it. She didn't stop there. Miao Jing even played a recording as proof from an employee at the Haoyun logistics station. It exposed the fact that there had been a lot of small shipments recently just to cover things up and help the company's plan to go public. Feeling cornered, Ding Lei immediately warned Miao Jing, telling her not to get too full of herself just because she had someone backing her up. He insisted that he was the project manager in charge of the stock launch and that he was still the one calling the shots. Right when things were getting really tense, Shunming called. He wasn't happy that Ding Lei tried to take all the responsibility on his own without saying anything, acting like he was way too confident in himself. Right after that, Shunming decided that until he arrived in Dangxing, Miao Jing would be in charge of all the final work. This decision made Ding Lei furious, but there was nothing he could do to her. To smooth things over, he invited the whole team out to eat and apologized to Miao Jing and Xiaoyu for the harsh things he said earlier. Meanwhile, Chen Yi had just finished dinner with Lily and the management team when he suddenly got a call from Miao Jing asking him to pick her up at the Sushing farm. But right at that moment, Miao Jing spotted a group of thugs coming her way, so she immediately told Chen Yi to call the police. Hearing that, Chen Yi was super worried. Noticing she was being followed, Miao Jing immediately ran away. The situation got more and more dangerous as those guys stayed right on her tail. She quickly hid in a corner and called Chen Yi to tell him her location, but they found her fast, forcing her to keep running. In a back alley, Chen Yi pulled up just in time, knocked one guy down, and quickly got Miao Jing into the car safely. Right after that, he took on the whole group of guys by himself. Sitting in the car, Miao Jing was on edge watching Chen Yi fight off so many opponents alone. Seeing his goons being taken down one by one, the leader flipped out, smashed the car with a club, and rushed over to try to drag Miao Jing out. Chen Yi immediately jumped in to stop him and forced him to say who was behind this. Terrified, the guy confessed that it was all ordered by Li Hao's people. The reason was that Ming Tong had previously done an audit report that made their company go under, so they wanted to get back at Ming Tong through Miao Jing. Hearing that, Chen Yi completely lost it. He threw punches like he was letting out all his rage, beating the leader so badly he almost couldn't control himself. Scared he might kill the guy, Miao Jing immediately hugged Chen Yi tight, begging him to stop. Only when he felt her arms around him did Chen Yi slowly come to his senses. He held Miao Jing tight while breathing hard, and she kept reassuring him that she was safe. A few minutes later, the police quickly arrived to secure the entire scene. After talking to Chen Yi privately, Captain Su came out to see Miao Jing and reassured her that everything was caught on camera, so the other side would take full responsibility. He softly mentioned Lu Wen, saying that if his wife were still here, she would definitely blame him for not taking good care of Miao Jing. Before leaving, Captain Su told her not to overwork herself, because what Jiwen wanted most was for both Chen Yi and Miao Jing to live happy lives. Hearing that, Miao Jing nodded slightly, and after finishing the paperwork, she and Chen Yi went home. In another scene, when Director Tsin found out Miao Jing was targeted for revenge by Li Hao's people, he immediately told his secretary to gather all info on Li Hao and quickly put it into a report. Back home, Chen Yi didn't want Miao Jing to keep doing this risky audit work anymore. But Miao Jing calmly replied that the chances of being in danger were very low and she could totally handle it. That answer made Chen Yi even more frustrated, not understanding why she insisted on being an auditor. Miao Jing also lost her cool. She brought up how 6 years ago, Chen Yi changed her university choice on his own, and now he wanted to interfere with her job too. She questioned what right he had to decide her life, while he himself was working for Zhang Xian in a very dangerous environment. Chen Yi just quietly said that it didn't matter what happened to him, but Miao Jing had to be safe. Hearing that, she was even more heartbroken, blaming him for always wanting her to have a good life while he accepted rotting away in Dangxing. She reminded him that he knew well she couldn't bear to leave him, yet he heartlessly destroyed both their future and their home. Facing those accusations, Chun-Yi could only admit that his life had long been shattered, and he was no longer able to give himself a better future. Immediately, Miao Jing asked back, "If that's the case, then what can you even do now?" and then challenged him to see if he dared to kiss her. That challenge broke all the restraint he had kept for so many years. Chun-Yi immediately grabbed Miao Jing and gave her a passionate kiss so she would understand that he had never stopped loving her. It was just that before, he didn't dare and couldn't bear to drag her into his life, full of mud and danger. After that kiss, Chun-Yi softly asked Miao Jing to give him a little more time to settle everything. This time, Miao Jing didn't object anymore and quietly nodded in agreement. The next morning, Captain Su came to the beer shop to see Chun-Yi and required him to go to the police station for a psychological counseling session, because his routine checkup record was 3 months overdue. Seeing Chun-Yi still hesitating and refusing to go, Captain Su used Miao Jing to pressure him, threatening to tell her everything. With no other choice, Chun-Yi reluctantly agreed to go that night. Right then, Miao Jing brought food to the shop for everyone to eat together. Her appearance made Chun-Yi even more nervous, fearing Captain Su would accidentally reveal his secret. Luckily, because of an emergency, Captain Su had to leave first. Only then did Chun-Yi breathe a sigh of relief. Seeing him clumsily bandaging the wound on his hand himself, Miao Jing even teased him that the bandage looked terrible. By late evening, Captain Su came back to pick up Chun-Yi for the therapy session. All along the way, Chun-Yi was so stressed that he felt he would rather be tortured than have to face those memories. Captain Su quietly reminded him that since Miao Jing was back now, he had to try even harder to move forward. Before going into the therapy room, he carefully made Chun-Yi put on a hat and a mask so other people wouldn't recognize him. When the session started, Chun-Yi slowly relaxed his body. But right after that, horrible memories of the life and death boxing arena came back, making his whole body shake without stopping. The psychologist kept telling him to stay calm, reminding him that he was back in his hometown and in a safe place now. It was all just nightmares. All he had to do was learn how to control them. At the same time, the doctor guided him to remember why he braved all those dangers to come home, to think of the person he wanted to see most and the place where she was waiting. Those words immediately brought Miao Jing's image to Chun-Yi's mind. To him, she was the only light that pulled him out of those dark days. When he opened his eyes, tears were quietly streaming down his face, and his heart was hurting so much. Standing outside the room, Captain Su was just as worried, hoping that Chun-Yi's condition was finally getting better. Right then, Miao Jing unexpectedly showed up at the police station to bring lunch to Captain Su. As soon as he stepped out of the room, Chun-Yi saw her and was totally shocked. Miao Jing just smiled and gave him a lollipop, then gently took his hand to go home together. Chun-Yi had to lie and say he only came to the station to help with the Li Hao case investigation. Miao Jing completely believed his story without any doubt. After they left, the psychologist came out and told Captain Su that Chun-Yi's condition had improved a lot. He was slowly getting his emotions under control, and there was real hope for him to get back to a normal life. Especially, if Chun-Yi could fall in love and stay in a steady relationship, the healing process would go much faster. Chun-Yi rode his motorcycle with Miao Jing on the back, cruising through the streets to enjoy the breeze. Even though he drove really fast, Miao Jing loved it even more, happily holding him tight from behind. It turned out that when she brought food to the police station for Captain Su earlier, Miao Jing curiously asked why Chun-Yi had to go to therapy, and if he would always have to be treated like that since coming back to Dangxing. But Captain Su couldn't say anything, because it was Chun-Yi's private business. Hearing that, Miao Jing just quietly promised that no matter what happened later, she would face it with him. The next morning, Chun-Yi and Boss Zhang sat by the lake fishing. Looking at the fish he just caught, Boss Zhang used it as a metaphor to remind Chun-Yi not to forget who he really is just because of his quiet life now. Then he hinted, and asked that after almost 3 years in Jingua, he must have learned quite a few rules there. Chun-Yi just calmly replied that in Dangxing, besides following the law and being a good citizen, he didn't have any other rules to follow. Meanwhile, Miao Jing went to the pool hall, determined to ask Ba Zi about what had happened to Chun-Yi over the past 6 years. Seeing that Ba Zi refused to talk, she declared she would stay at the shop all day until she found out the truth. This gave Ba Zi and De Yong a huge headache. On the other side, Boss Zhang showed Chun-Yi some secret photos of Lu Bo. Seeing that, Chun-Yi immediately asked if he was suspecting him. Boss Zhang insisted that he wasn't the type to betray his brothers, but recently a rat had appeared at Hao Yun, and he definitely had to find that person. According to his guess, this person might be hiding in the audit team from Haiqing. As he said this, Boss Zhang gave a meaningful smile, and then asked Chun-Yi if an outsider had appeared by his side. In response, Chun-Yi just coldly said that no one wanted a peaceful life more than he did. After the meeting, he immediately went back to find Ba Zi and said that someone had started investigating Hao Yun, investigating Zhang Xian, and maybe even himself. Hearing that, Ba Zi said that today Miao Jing also came to ask a lot of things, but he kept all the secrets. That made Chun-Yi even more worried. He understood that if Miao Jing kept following those clues, she would soon run into the dangerous people hiding in Dangxing. By then, even he might not be able to protect the girl he loved. When Chun-Yi got home, he saw 2 theater tickets neatly placed on the shelf. Miao Jing said after working overtime the next day, she would go to the theater to watch the show with him. Taking that chance, Jenny told her that if there was anything she wanted to know, she should ask him directly, but absolutely do not keep investigating Hao Yun and Zhang Xian. But Miao Jing only hoped he could get a good night's sleep, at least for tonight. Late at night, after they finished their late-night snack, Miao Jing saw Chun Yi fall asleep on the sofa. Looking at his tired face, she felt really sorry for him. She understood that in places she never knew about, Chun Yi must have gone through so much pain and danger to be able to return as he is today. The next morning at the office, Xiao Yu reported that Hao Yun's main business still had many suspicious points. Meanwhile, the other 2 companies where Zhang Xian held shares didn't show any signs of fraud for now. Just then, there was a knock at the door, and Xiao Yu immediately flipped the analysis chart over to hide the documents. Once they saw the person walking in was just a coworker, everyone breathed a sigh of relief. At Lily's nail salon, a drunk guy suddenly barged in to pick a fight. He loudly demanded a discount, making the female customers run away in fear. Lily stepped out and immediately told him to leave, but the guy kept causing trouble and even said he wouldn't be scared even if the police showed up. That afternoon after work, Miao Jing went to the theater to watch the show. While waiting for Chun Yi, she got a text from him saying something came up, so he would be a little late. The show started soon. Everyone was watching closely, but Miao Jing kept looking around, hoping to see him. It turned out the drunk guy was still causing trouble at the nail salon. He insisted on holding Xiao Bao, his son, even though Lily tried hard to stop him. Chun Yi showed up just in time and quickly got the man under control. As soon as he saw Chun Yi, the guy got scared and ran away. Seeing that everything was okay, Chun Yi only had time to tell Lily a few things before rushing to the theater. While Miao Jing was focused on the performance, the actress on stage suddenly walked down to the seats, handed a symbolic sword to a girl, and helped set up a romantic marriage proposal from a man to the one he loved. At that exact moment, Chun Yi arrived all out of breath. As soon as he saw Miao Jing talking to a stranger, he immediately looked jealous. That person was Shunming. At first, Shunming thought Chun Yi was Miao Jing's brother, but Chun Yi immediately denied it, making it clear they weren't biological siblings. Sensing the awkward vibe, Miao Jing quickly changed the subject and asked Shunming why he was also there. He just laughed and said his hotel was near the theater, so he just stopped by to watch the show. When Miao Jing offered to see Shunming back to his hotel, Chun Yi immediately insisted on going along. When they got to the car and Shunming politely opened the back door for Miao Jing, Chun Yi quickly pulled her to sit in the front passenger seat next to him. Just that one small move showed how jealous he was. He was acting like a total hater. When they arrived at the hotel, Shunming invited Miao Jing up to his room to talk about work. Seeing that, Chun Yi got jealous right away, feeling uneasy because he was scared something might happen between them. Miao Jing explained that it was strictly business and promised to be home soon, but that didn't make Chun Yi feel any better. So he didn't go home but just stood in front of the hotel waiting, his heart burning with anxiety. After only half an hour passed, because he was so restless and worried, Chun Yi ran straight up to Shunming's room to call Miao Jing home. Seeing how childish and jealous he was being, Miao Jing helplessly followed him back. On the way down in the elevator, she teased him for being so jealous, and Chun Yi just felt embarrassed and couldn't say a word. The next morning, Miao Jing and Leader Ding took Hao Yun's introduction letter, the list of confirmation letters, and copies to meet Manager Wang. Before handing over the documents, she firmly asked to check Manager Wang's employee ID. Even though Leader Ding thought it wasn't necessary, Miao Jing insisted on following the procedure. Only after confirming the ID did she feel safe handing over the files. Back at the company, they ran into Shunming, who was giving out gifts to the staff. After handing out the gifts, he called Leader Ding and Miao Jing into his office. Looking over the draft, Shunming found that the formula for the gross profit margin was missing some data, which made the report inaccurate. Leader Ding immediately tried to blame everything on Miao Jing, but Shunming didn't accept that kind of finger-pointing. He told Miao Jing to go out and investigate and cross-check the data, while also strictly reminding Leader Ding not to neglect his responsibilities, or else he would have to face the consequences himself. Meanwhile, at the beer shop, Chun Yi and Bazi both sat there in a daze. Chun Yi was on edge because Shunming was always around Miao Jing now. Meanwhile, Bazi had a headache because he just fought with Li Qiao about the bride price. When it was time to pick up Miao Jing from work, Chun Yi drove to the office. When he got there, he saw she had a dinner date with Shunming, so he took the lead and asked to go along. When Shunming agreed, Chun Yi immediately opened the front passenger door and pulled Miao Jing to sit next to him, determined not to let her sit in the back with another man. During the meal, Shunming noticed that Chun Yi was quietly taking care of Miao Jing, so he curiously asked why he had never heard her mention him before. Chun Yi calmly replied that work is for working, not for talking about family background, so not mentioning him was normal. Hearing that, Shunming suddenly revealed that he and Miao Jing were exes, which made Miao Jing cough like crazy from the surprise. It didn't stop there. Shunming also mentioned another past relationship of hers with a classmate from the college swim team. Miao Jing quickly explained that they broke up just because their personalities didn't match, while Chun Yi was boiling with jealousy inside. He really wanted to say that he was actually Miao Jing's first love, but in the end, he stayed silent. After the meal, Chun Yi planned to pay the bill, but Shunming was faster and swiped his card first. When Shunming left, Ginny immediately drove Miao Jing home. All along the way, he pouted because he didn't expect she had loved two people before. Lost in thought, he walked up the stairs without paying attention and almost tripped, which made Miao Jing laugh. She thought that asking too much about exes was not only uncool but also made someone look petty, so he just held his anger inside. Chun-Yi finally admitted that what bothered him wasn't the ex-boyfriends, but that Shin-Ming knew more about Miao Jing's last 6 years than he did. Hearing that, Miao Jing just smiled and kept pestering him about his own exes. The next morning, Chun-Yi went to Captain Su's house to help clean up an old wedding house. After finishing the work, Captain Su asked straight out about him hanging out with Zhang Xian lately. Chun-Yi then showed him the secret photos of Lu Bo and mentioned that Zhang Xian was in contact with him for a big deal. After hearing that, Captain Su kept the photos as evidence and said the police would continue to secretly watch Zhang Xian. Before Chun-Yi left, he seriously warned him not to trade his whole future for things in the past. Chun-Yi just gave a sad smile and said if just a few pieces of advice could make someone let go, Captain Su wouldn't have had to bring him there today. Before saying goodbye, Captain Su gave him the spare key to the house. Chun-Yi quietly took it and left. Chun-Yi then went to help Boss Z move things into the wedding room. Right then, Li Qiao's parents showed up looking very upset, questioning why the two of them were moving to a room smaller than before. Li Qiao's mother immediately declared she didn't want to marry off her daughter anymore, and her father bluntly said his daughter couldn't live in such a cramped place. Seeing things get tense, Chun-Yi quickly stepped in to smooth things over. He said Boss Z was getting ready to buy a new house, and the pool club was now entirely managed by Boss Z. Seeing Li Qiao's parents still looked suspicious, Chun-Yi told Boss Z to take them to the beer shop for a tour. Li Qiao also immediately took her parents along to calm the atmosphere. Once there, Boss Z proudly introduced the place he had built. While everyone wasn't paying attention, Chun-Yi cleverly placed a photo of Boss Z and Li Qiao in the office to make everything look even more convincing. When he saw the nice beer shop with his own eyes, Li Qiao's father finally smiled and agreed to let the two of them get married. After that, the parents happily went home. Having their marriage approved by the family, Boss Z and Li Qiao were overjoyed. Boss Z was so touched he ran over and gave Chun-Yi and De Yong a big hug to say thanks. He thought everything was just a temporary act, but to his surprise, Chun-Yi actually decided to transfer the beer shop to Boss Z's name, leaving him speechless. Chun-Yi only told him that De Yong's share of the profit should stay the same because De Yong is an honest guy without any bad intentions, so he hoped Boss Z would look after him more. Boss Z was moved and said he would consider this money as a loan from Chun-Yi and that he was just helping watch the shop. Chun-Yi couldn't just give up everything like that. Hearing that, Chun-Yi just smiled and said to just think of it as a loan. After saying that, he immediately took Boss Z to finish the paperwork to transfer the pool club's name. On Miao Jing's side, during the meeting with the audited company, she pointed out that while checking the inventory, the audit team found several records of outgoing goods that didn't match the incoming data, showing signs of loss but couldn't determine where the goods went. Manager Wang argued that if those differences really existed, they were most likely just management mistakes and couldn't conclude anything yet. But Miao Jing bluntly rejected that, stating this wasn't just a management error but very likely showed signs of embezzling public funds. Just as the atmosphere of the meeting was extremely tense, Chun-Yi suddenly showed up at Boss Zhang's invitation, leaving Miao Jing and everyone there completely stunned. Right after that, Miao Jing continued to ask if the company had a plan to review and optimize the internal control system, and if they were applying any measures to strengthen the recovery and management of accounts receivable. Seeing everyone arguing back and forth for too long, Chun-Yi calmly remarked that with that much time, they could have finished 2 sets of files already. Shen-Ming immediately reminded him that he had no right to interrupt the meeting. However, Chun-Yi calmly replied that since the moment he joined Hao Yun, he had the right to join meetings like this. Hearing that, Shen-Ming decided to end the meeting right then and there. After the meeting ended, Chun-Yi brought coffee to Miao Jing's whole team and then called her out to talk privately. As soon as she saw him, Miao Jing couldn't help teasing that back when things were hard, he dressed better than now, whereas now he wears a suit but with sneakers, looking totally mismatched. She even joked that maybe he was afraid of being assimilated by Hao Yun, so he purposely dressed like that. If he didn't like that environment, then why come back to this muddy water? Chun-Yi just smiled and said he came here simply because he wanted to give her a surprise. That night when Chun-Yi went into the bathroom, Miao Jing kept waiting outside nervously because she was worried he would shower too long and pass out inside. After he stepped out, she even dried his hair for him herself. While drying his hair, she asked why Zhang Xian had invited him to cooperate at the beer club many times before and he refused, yet this time he agreed to return to Hao Yun. Chun-Yi just laughed and replied that he wanted to show her that he looked more handsome in a suit than even Shen-Ming. That answer made Miao Jing laugh, but when she looked straight into his eyes, Chun-Yi got so flustered that his heart raced, and he even got a nosebleed. On the Qixi festival, Xiaoyu was with Wu Peng when she suddenly saw Miao Jing next to a man. As soon as he saw Xiaoyu coming closer, Chun-Yi quickly avoided her to hide his face. Xiaoyu then told Miao Jing that Director Shen had asked a salesperson about a woman's bag and asked her to guess who he planned to give it to. Miao Jing calmly replied that it was probably a birthday gift for Shen Ming's mother. Hearing that, Xiaoyu couldn't help but be surprised that although they had been broken up for over a year, Miao Jing still clearly remembered his mother's birthday. After the conversation, Miao Jing went to find Chen Yi and saw that he was clearly acting jealous because he had heard everything she and Xiaoyu said. She gently hoped he wouldn't be like before and wouldn't use forceful ways or petty tricks to keep her around anymore. In response, Chen Yi only hoped she would promise him one thing, which was not to keep jumping into dangerous jobs or situations. The next morning, being driven to work by Chen Yi, Miao Jing just kept smiling happily because he looked so handsome in a suit that she didn't want to let go. That made Chen Yi extremely embarrassed. Seeing Miao Jing staring at him like that, Chen Yi quietly reminded her that if she wanted to stare, she could do it all she wanted at home, but in front of the company gate, she should behave a little. Hearing that, Miao Jing teased him back, asking if maybe he liked sneaking around at the office for a little thrill. Seeing her lean in, Chen Yi tried to sneak a kiss, but Miao Jing quickly cut him off and casually got out of the car. She walked straight into the company, leaving Chen Yi stunned by her playful teasing. While checking the records, Miao Jing found something weird. By her math, 6,000 tons of goods only needed about 6 heavy truck trips, but for some reason, nearly 20 trips happened every month, and sometimes even more. Because of that, shipping costs had mysteriously tripled, unless Hao Yun was hiding something. Shen Ming immediately decided to do a field survey to cross-check all the numbers. Right then, Chen Yi showed up and suggested that since Hao Yun's staff structure and management processes weren't really clear yet, all procedures should be handled much more strictly from now on. According to him, any documents or data being moved would need a signature from the person in charge. This suggestion caught everyone in the meeting room off guard. Miao Jing thought the process was too redundant and would waste a lot of time, but Leader Ding agreed since he didn't see any issue with it. Chen Yi immediately shook hands with Leader Ding as if they were on the same page. With no other choice, Miao Jing had to go along with Chen Yi's plan. When lunch break came, Miao Jing went straight to Chen Yi to pout. Chen Yi calmly explained that work is work, and he couldn't break the rules just because of personal feelings. Just then, someone walked by, and Chen Yi slipped away right away, leaving Miao Jing looking on helplessly. Right after that, a manager from Hao Yun led Chen Yi to a private office that had been prepared for him. There, Chen Yi demanded that from now on, any documents or data the audit team wanted to see would have to go through a full approval process, and everyone in charge would have to sign off before the files were taken out. The manager agreed right away, but didn't forget to mention that if a problem came up later, the shipping department wouldn't take the blame. Since the warehouse had never had an issue before, suddenly tightening management like this would make things very hard for Boss Tao to explain. After hearing that, Chen Yi didn't say another word and immediately picked up the phone to make a call. Right after that, Chen Yi and Boss Tao went to check the warehouse. There, he quickly exposed the fact that Manager Wang didn't know the rules at all. He didn't even know that according to regulations, he was supposed to personally check the inventory once a month. When questioned, Manager Wang could only give vague excuses. Seeing this, Boss Tao coldly scolded him, saying that if he could even betray his own people, he wouldn't achieve anything in the future. After that incident, Boss Tao decided to give Chen Yi direct control over all the old warehouses. Taking on the job, Chen Yi immediately told Manager Wang to transfer all the driver records to him, while also specifically marking those who had worked for over 5 years for easier tracking. Manager Wang had no choice but to nod and accept. The next morning, Miao Jing and Shen Ming went to the Chongbang steel plant to meet Manager Liu. While checking the shipping slips, Miao Jing discovered that starting 2 years ago, the factory had begun giving all its goods to Hao Yun for transport. Manager Liu explained that the reason was simple. Hao Yun's prices were cheaper, and for small shipments, they just hired a few outside trucks. After finishing work and stepping outside, the two got caught in a sudden rainstorm. Chen Yi was already waiting there. As soon as he saw Miao Jing appear, he immediately opened an umbrella for her, while Shen Ming was pretty much ignored. The three of them quickly found a spot to hide from the rain. Standing under the eaves, Miao Jing looked at a dragon head statue nearby and mentioned that she had once touched it to make a wish. Hearing this, Shen Ming curiously asked if that wish had come true. The question made Miao Jing suddenly remember years ago when she and Chen Yi stood here holding hands to make a wish together. Smiling, she just softly replied, "I guess you could say it came true." Hearing that, Shen Ming excitedly said he wanted to try making a wish for love too. Back at the office, Shen Ming showed Chen Yi the confirmation letter regarding the file transfer procedures. Chen Yi explained that Hao Yun also wanted to speed things up, but because they kept having to attend various meetings, the file transfer was still delayed. Plus, they had to send people all the way to the outskirts to finish the paperwork. He promised to find a way to handle it as fast as possible and took the lead to invite Shen Ming to meet this Friday night at the pool hall to talk more. Shen Ming agreed immediately, while also clearly understanding that Chen Yi was intentionally stalling and making things hard for him. On Friday, Chen Yi and Director Shen discussed business while playing pool. Chen Yi agreed to let the audit team freely check the old warehouse area, but the condition was that Miao Jing absolutely must not participate. Hearing this, Director Shen immediately realized that Chen Yi was intentionally keeping Miao Jing away from the transport area, proving that Hao Yun's warehouse was definitely not simple. Right after that, Chen Yi went to the old warehouse to check and quickly realized something was wrong. At the same time, Miao Jing and Director Shen went to see the warehouse staff, pretending to be people from the Chongbang steel plant asking about a shipment that was short on quantity. The warehouse guy immediately washed his hands of it, saying that since the sender packed the goods themselves, logistics had nothing to do with it. Director Shin then suggested checking the inventory list and the original fleet records. Right then, Chun-Yi showed up and was totally surprised to see Miao Jing there. After he understood the situation, he let her check the computer and even stood in front of the camera so Miao Jing could freely take pictures of the necessary documents. After finishing the job, Miao Jing and Director Shun left. When the transport fleet started heading out, Chun-Yi immediately drove after them, and Miao Jing also secretly followed behind. In another development, Lily gave Aunt Li a 200 yuan raise every month to take good care of her son, Xiao Bao, and Aunt Li happily agreed. After that, Li Qiao came to the nail salon for a treatment and asked Lily why she wasn't dating Chun-Yi. Lily calmly said they had broken up. Li Qiao wanted to introduce her to some reliable guys at the pool club, but Lily refused because she still couldn't let go of Chun-Yi and wanted to stay single for a while. Meanwhile, when the trucks reached the dock, the drivers immediately swapped their license plates. Miao Jing hid in a corner to take pictures of the whole scene, but Chun-Yi showed up to stop her because he knew it was too dangerous. Just as Boss Tao heard a noise and went to check, Chun-Yi and Miao Jing quickly hid in a truck. To avoid being caught, Miao Jing suddenly kissed Chun-Yi right there in the truck. Boss Tao felt for a second that something was off, but then he didn't think much of it and went back inside. When she saw Boss Tao drive away, Miao Jing lightly bit Chun-Yi's cheek and reminded him that she was capable enough to handle things herself. She even warned him that if he acted on his own without telling her next time, she wouldn't come home anymore. After the lingering kiss, Miao Jing immediately told Chun-Yi to get out of the truck so she could go pick up Director Shun. Even so, Chun-Yi secretly drove along behind her. At a gas station, Miao Jing happened to run into Shun Ming in the convenience store. Seeing this, Chun-Yi also got out of his car, pretending to go in and buy something, but he was actually just keeping an eye on her. Then, he told Miao Jing to get in the car first, so he could have a private talk with Shun Ming. Chun-Yi straight up warned him that if he used Miao Jing as a pawn for profit, he definitely wouldn't go easy on him. On the way, Miao Jing told Shun Ming that Hao Yun's fleet had swapped license plates before heading to the border crossing, and that Boss Tao was also at the scene. However, they were still missing a few important documents to hand over all the evidence to Hong Shen. Hearing this, Shun Ming thought the best way right now was to lure the snake out of its hole. Right after that, Miao Jing went to the police station to report that her car had been scraped by a truck, and she had a photo of the license plate. After looking it up, the police quickly found the owner's info and phone number. As soon as she got the number, Miao Jing called him right away. On the other side, Boss Tao got word that Old Bai had gone to the traffic police to handle the accident, so he rushed to cancel his meetings for the day to go find him. Meanwhile, Chun-Yi found Miao Jing waiting for Old Bai at the police station and immediately told her to leave the place right then. As soon as they met, Boss Tao scolded Old Bai for being stupid because he let this happen while so many eyes were watching, clearly showing that someone had started an investigation. Just then, Chun-Yi showed up and said the person who made the report was actually Ding Lei, the audit team leader. Furthermore, Hao Yun's old warehouse was being investigated by Shun Ming for suspected cargo weight fraud, which was why Old Bai's truck became a target. After hearing this, Boss Tao told Chun-Yi to go remind Old Bai to keep his mouth shut tight. When he got back to the company, Chun-Yi called Ding Lei into his office and told him straight up that Shun Ming was about to take him down. Right after that, Chun-Yi showed a bunch of evidence that Ding Lei had been doing shady things at work and made it clear that if he hadn't stopped it in time today, a whistleblowing letter would have been sent a long time ago. Hearing this, Ding Lei asked worriedly if Shun Ming would really dare to take the risk, even if it messed up the company's plan to go public. Chun-Yi calmly replied that the ones who would have to pay the damages were himself and Hong Shun, not Shun Ming. Knowing he had no way out, Ding Lei could only bow his head and beg Chun-Yi for help. Chun-Yi immediately demanded that he quit right away and said he would handle manager Wang himself. Later at the office kitchen, Miao Jing reminded Chun-Yi that Zhang Xian isn't someone you can easily trick. Chun-Yi just smiled and patted her on the head, and right then, Zhang Xian called him for a meeting. When they met, Zhang Xian said that during the audit, Ding Lei had been under pressure many times, but in the end, Chun-Yi scared him so much that he had to give back all the money he had stolen. Chun-Yi replied that Ding Lei originally planned to make some money off Hao Yun, but as soon as he found out about the investigation into the license plate swapping, he wanted to bail. After hearing that, Zhang Xian asked why Chun-Yi insisted on getting involved in the port stuff when it had nothing to do with him. Chun-Yi calmly said he had been fooled by Zhai Mao once before, so he wasn't going to let anyone trick him again. That answer made Zhang Xian decide to put Chun-Yi in charge of the whole thing. Before leaving, he also reminded him that if he wanted to achieve great things, he had to be far-sighted and give it his all. Even though Zhai Mao was dead, no one could truly cut ties with the past. Hearing those words, Chun-Yi just quietly got lost in his thoughts. When Chun-Yi got back home, he saw Miao Jing still standing there waiting by the door. He was going to take off his jacket for her to wear so she wouldn't get cold, but then he hesitated because he was afraid the sweat on him would bother her. Because Chun-Yi was always like that, always thinking of her and forgetting about his own feelings. The next morning, Captain Su went to visit Lu Wen's grave and quietly told his wife what had been happening between Chun-Yi and Miao Jing. He sighed softly, thinking that if Lu Wen were still alive, maybe those two kids would listen more and wouldn't make people worry so much. Also on that same day, Ba Zi and Li Qiao's wedding officially took place. Chun Yi was the best man for Ba Zi. Even though he was the groom, Ba Zi was so nervous he couldn't sit still, making Chun Yi and Dayong laugh. On the bride's side, Lily personally did the makeup for Li Qiao. In her glowing wedding dress, Li Qiao kept smiling, her eyes red from happiness. To pick up the bride, Ba Zi had to pass a bunch of challenges set by the bride's side. Miao Jing represented the bride's side while Chun Yi stood on the groom's side. The two of them worked together to get past the red strings blocking the way and then tie the red thread that symbolized the connection between Ba Zi and Li Qiao. Finally, the groom successfully picked up his bride while everyone cheered and gave them their blessings. Right after that, the guests arrived one by one to congratulate the couple. With cheers and applause, Ba Zi and Li Qiao walked down the aisle together. After the wedding ceremony, the bride threw her bouquet. Surprisingly, De Yong caught it, but he immediately gave the bouquet to Miao Jing and invited her on stage. In front of everyone, Miao Jing gave her best wishes to Ba Zi and Li Qiao, hoping they would always support each other and stay together no matter what happens in the future. In an atmosphere full of joy and laughter, the wedding ended perfectly. The next morning, Chun Yi met Miao Jing's audit team and announced he was inviting everyone for a 2-day trip to the beach. The company would pay for all the costs. This news made everyone very excited. Right after that, Chun Yi joined the audit team on the trip, hiking and visiting famous spots. Everyone was having a great time, except Chun Yi, who didn't seem interested in the scenery at all. Throughout the whole journey, his eyes were always on Miao Jing and Shen Ming, afraid that if he looked away for a second, the two of them would get closer. When they checked into the hotel, Xiao Yu gave Miao Jing a bikini and told her to wear it, so she would stand out at the beach. But Miao Jing refused immediately because she felt the outfit looked like a praying mantis. Finally, Miao Jing chose a short dress with a cardigan over it. Right then, Shen Ming praised Miao Jing, saying she looked beautiful and that the colors really matched her skin tone. Hearing those words, Chun Yi's jealousy showed clearly. He wanted to rush over and stop Shen Ming but held himself back. At the beach, Shen Ming played the sound of ocean waves for Miao Jing and said the sound would help her sleep better. Seeing that made Chun Yi even more uncomfortable. Shen Ming also made a date for Miao Jing to take him to the night market when they got back to Dengsheng, which made Chun Yi even more annoyed because the ex-boyfriend kept hanging around her. In response, Miao Jing calmly reminded him that Shen Ming was just an ex after all, while Chun Yi still hadn't defined their own relationship. When they started warming up for basketball, Chun Yi didn't forget to tease Shen Ming, saying he should exercise more, or he might pull a muscle later. While watching, Xiao Yu noticed that Chun Yi looked strong and decisive, while Shen Ming was calm and elegant. After the lively basketball game, the whole group took a commemorative photo and then went down to the sea to play in the water, creating a very happy atmosphere. A little while later, Shen Ming asked Chun Yi why he was always paying so much attention to him. Chun Yi calmly replied that Miao Jing is an adult with her own thoughts and choices. Shen Ming, on the other hand, thought Dengsheng was not a place where Miao Jing could fully develop her abilities. Chun Yi immediately replied that as a family member, he would naturally always support all of her decisions with all his heart. After saying that, he even intentionally splashed water on Shen Ming's feet and then casually pretended it was just an accident. That evening, the whole group gathered by the beach to enjoy a barbecue. Seeing Miao Jing quietly watching the sea, Chun Yi walked over, handed her a car key and said, "Car dealerships here as well as in Haiqing can deliver the car, just pick whichever place is more convenient." However, Miao Jing just softly asked him in what capacity he was giving that gift. The question made Chun Yi stop, and he quietly withdrew his hand without saying anything else. After that, everyone gathered around the bonfire and played truth or dare together. Xiao Yu asked Miao Jing about her ideal type. She calmly replied that it was a sincere and passionate person who always trusted each other and was ready for the other person without caring about anything else. When the whole group continued to ask if that person was here or not, Miao Jing just quietly raised her glass instead of answering. Seeing that, Shen Ming took the lead to drink for her, making Chun Yi standing nearby even more uncomfortable. The next morning, the whole group went out to the beach to catch seafood. Shen Ming took the chance to remind Shen Yi that while the project was still being carried out, he should keep a necessary distance. At the same time, Xiao Yu, Xiao Ma, and Miao Jing were following the rocks looking for seafood when Xiao Yu suddenly slipped, fell into a crevice, and sprained her leg. Miao Jing immediately ran down to help her and pushed Xiao Yu up first. As the tide started to rise, Miao Jing told the two of them to quickly go find the rescue team while she stayed behind. Hearing the news that Miao Jing was trapped under the submerged rocks, Chun Yi immediately rushed to find her in a panic, only hoping nothing would happen to her. Without any hesitation, he jumped straight into the sea, just like years ago when they were kids, and he risked his life to save her from the water. Finally, Chun Yi found her and pulled her out of the crevice. While holding Miao Jing tight in relief, he scolded her for being too reckless, because if something really happened to her, he wouldn't know what to do. Those words stunned Miao Jing. A few minutes later, the rescue boat arrived just in time and took Miao Jing to the infirmary. Luckily, she only had a few scratches on her skin, and her bones weren't affected at all. Right after that, Miao Jing and Chun Yi walked together along the shore. Miao Jing asked what on earth he was actually thinking every time he rushed in to save her. Chun Yi simply said that when facing danger, he doesn't have time to think. If he hesitated for even a second, Miao Jing would face that much more risk. Hearing that, Miao Jing felt a lump in her throat. She said that when she is in danger, he knows how to feel scared and worried. So how could she ever be at peace every time he risks his life to jump into danger? In her eyes, Chunyi loved her too much but didn't know how to love. He always used himself as a bargaining chip. Before, he sacrificed for her future, and now he sacrifices to protect her safety. But in the end, he never gets any happiness for himself. The more Miao Jing spoke, the more she blamed herself, thinking she had brought too much misfortune to Chunyi. Seeing her heartbroken, Chunyi gently said that everything he did was voluntary. Unable to hold back her emotions any longer, Miao Jing took the initiative and kissed Chunyi. At first he avoided it, but then he got lost in that sweet and passionate kiss. After the kiss, Miao Jing hugged him tight and didn't want to let go. In another scene, Lily was doing Li Qiao's nails and curiously asked if Chunyi had a girlfriend yet. Li Qiao could only shake her head because she didn't know either, then asked back if Lily still couldn't let go of Chunyi. In the kitchen, Bazi accidentally overheard the story and stood there quietly eavesdropping. When the three of them gathered for hot pot, Lily kept asking Bazi if Miao Jing and Chunyi were in love. Bazi bluntly said he didn't know for sure, but if Lily still wanted to get back with Chunyi, the hope was pretty much gone. When Lily asked if Miao Jing truly loved Chunyi, Bazi still couldn't say for sure, only mentioning that in Chunyi's heart, Miao Jing was more important than life itself. With that kind of love, no matter how big the storm is, it would be hard to pull them apart unless Miao Jing herself chose to leave. Those words left Lily stunned, her heart filled with many indescribable emotions. The stormy trip finally came to an end. The whole group returned safely to the city. On the bus, seeing Miao Jing and Ming Tong sitting in the back row, Chunyi immediately went over to sit with them, using the excuse that his eyes were irritated by the sea breeze, so he didn't want to sit in the front. Seeing that, Miao Jing moved to the front seat, leaving Chunyi and Ming Tong in the back to continue their silent battle of wits. Once they got home, Chunyi immediately took Miao Jing's hand, led her to her room, and then went into the kitchen to make a meal. While he was cooking, he couldn't stop thinking about the kiss on the beach, his heart full of fluttering emotions. He also slowly realized that he had been too selfish by always wanting to sacrifice everything for Miao Jing without ever stopping to think if that was what she really wanted. When Miao Jing came out to get some water, Chunyi noticed her face looked clearly tired and she had gotten much thinner. However, she just softly said she was fine and hurried to gather the laundry because a super typhoon was about to hit. Not long after, Typhoon Mota struck, with violent wind and rain making it look like the whole city was about to be swallowed by nature. Sitting in her room, Miao Jing opened the old diary entries saved on her phone. She had always thought Chunyi was strong, as if no hardship could ever knock him down. But as their memories came back one by one, she finally understood that behind that resilience was so much pain and sacrifice. The bright future that Chunyi had destroyed his own life to give her had become a gift too heavy for her to know how to accept. The memories that seemed to have faded were now sharper than ever. There were moments once full of joy that eventually turned into tears. There were words not yet spoken that were already known to be a farewell. To truly have someone, first, you must learn to accept the feeling of losing them. Standing between the two ends of dreams, looking back, everything was like streams of water that once lost each other and then found their way back. It's because you're still hoping that you feel so uneasy, and because you're scared of regret that you can't let go. Every dream lights a lamp, and both Miao Jing and Chunyi are still searching for the same answer in all the confusion. And at that exact moment, a painful thought crossed Miao Jing's mind. If she really let go for good, would Chunyi stop getting hurt? The heavy storm made water flood into Chunyi's house. He and Miao Jing kept scooping the water out, but there was just too much pouring in, so all their efforts were useless. Finally, they both just sat on the sofa, quietly watching the wall of rain outside. Not wanting the night to be too boring, Chunyi and Miao Jing decided to run out into the rain together, playing around to make a memory they'd never forget. After playing around, they came back and leaned on each other on the sofa, falling asleep in a peaceful and happy embrace. While the storm was raging, Hao Yun's shipment successfully passed the checkpoint. In the car, Tao Jiang told Zhang Xian that everything was handled. Once the books were done, they wouldn't have to worry about inspections, and the Hongshin investment would be released on time. Hearing that, Zhang Xian suddenly remembered the hard times when he and Zhai Mao struggled to make a living at a goose noodle shop. Even though it was tough, they always stood side by side. Then he told Tao Jiang that as long as Miao Jing and Chunyi stayed together, he would always have a way to keep Chunyi on this boat. The next morning, while Miao Jing was working, Chunyi texted her saying he had something to do tonight and couldn't have dinner with her. Right then, Tao Jiang came to invite Miao Jing to dinner with Zhang Xian to talk about some details regarding the transport section in the audit report. Miao Jing agreed, and after Shin Ming found out, he immediately called Chunyi. During the meal, Zhang Xian curiously asked why Miao Jing used to study and grow in Haicheng, where things were much better, but ended up choosing to come back to Dengxing. Miao Jing just calmly replied that for her, Dengxing was the place where she fit in best. At that exact moment, Chunyi showed up. Zhang Xian then said that the success or failure of his project depends on both of you. He went on to reveal that the new shipping route once had a missing link, but thanks to Chunyi stepping in to handle it, everything was able to run smoothly again. Not only that, He also promised that after the business trip, he would give Chun-Yi his annual leave to go on a trip with Miao Jing. However, the condition is that the shipping route must be guaranteed to run smoothly, because if there are any more delays, who knows how long Miao Jing will be stuck at Haoyun. Hearing that, Chun-Yi only replied that Uncle Cao had sent word. Right after that, everyone raised their glasses to end the dinner in an atmosphere full of calculation. On the way home, Chun-Yi didn't understand why Miao Jing agreed to have dinner with Zhang Xian. He was worried that if Zhang Xian made unreasonable demands, she would be in a tough spot. Miao Jing just calmly said that Zhang Xian definitely already knew about their relationship. He was just using her as an excuse to put pressure on Chun-Yi. When they got home and she saw Chun-Yi quietly packing his bags, Miao Jing immediately asked where he was going. Chun-Yi just said he had to go on a business trip, but Miao Jing quickly guessed it was an order from Zhang Xian. She kept questioning him about who this Uncle Cao person was. Was he preparing to go to Jingguo again? And was that the reason he always hid things from her? Miao Jing was determined not to let Chun-Yi leave the next day. She even decided to sleep in his room to keep an eye on him. Even though Chun-Yi reassured her that he would be back very soon, she still wouldn't agree to let him go. Chun-Yi waited until almost 4:30 a.m. to quietly leave the house. But he didn't know that Miao Jing was actually still awake. When he got to the pier, Chun-Yi found out that the shipment had already been moved to the port city by other vehicles a long time ago, and there was absolutely nothing on the boat. At home, Miao Jing immediately called the police to report people gathering to cause trouble, and she also gave them the license plate numbers and Chun-Yi's name. At the harbor, Chun-Yi realized there was no cargo on the ship and wanted to leave, but Dao Zi said he was just following orders from his boss and had to take him to Jingguo within half an hour. Just then, Captain Su showed up with his men and demanded that Dao Zi's group show all their papers due to suspected illegal fishing. Chun-Yi explained that he was just a transport manager checking on the ship, but Captain Su still took everyone in for questioning. The next morning, after finishing the statements, Captain Su called Chun-Yi into the car. Chun-Yi admitted that there was no cargo on the ship, proving that even he was being kept at a distance by them. Captain Su estimated that the other side probably thought the authorities were focused on the waterways, so their next plan would be to switch to large-scale ground transport. Right after that, Chun-Yi found out that the person who called the police was actually Miao Jing. Captain Su just smiled and told him to make sure he thanked her properly when he got back home. But when Chun-Yi got home, Miao Jing had already packed her things and left. He immediately panicked and kept calling her over and over, but she didn't pick up. Actually, Miao Jing had moved into a hotel temporarily, planning to stay there until the day she went back to Haiqing. Shen Ming also said his colleague was on the same floor, so she could reach out if she needed anything. While Chun-Yi was quietly cooking at home, Lily unexpectedly stopped by. Not seeing Miao Jing anywhere, she asked about her. Chun-Yi just replied that Miao Jing went on a business trip for a few days. Hearing that, Lily suddenly asked him a very suggestive question. At Ba Zi's wedding that day, was the person you really wanted to stand next to actually Miao Jing? Seeing Chun-Yi stay silent, Lily finally admitted straight out that she liked him. Even though she didn't know exactly what kind of feeling it was, liking him was still liking him. Chun-Yi calmly replied that he didn't have romantic feelings for her. Lily had already guessed that answer, but she felt that just saying what was on her mind made her feel more relieved. Before she left, Chun-Yi still said that if she ever needed help, she should just find him. Lily nodded slightly and then quietly walked away. In another scene, when Miao Jing got into Ming Tong's car, he noted that the trends in foreign trade had changed a lot in the last few years. Maybe Hong Shun is trying to grab opportunities from the port city. Miao Jing thought they could only make an official report after finishing the work files. Since the cause of the empty transaction data they found last time still hadn't been discovered, they absolutely couldn't rush the progress. Just then, Si Yu and Xiao Ma got into the car, and Ming Tong waited for the whole team to continue their work. At the pool club, Captain Su told Chun-Yi to follow the two trucks he had given the license plate numbers for earlier. He believed that if the other side really had a problem, they would show a mistake sooner or later. Chun-Yi, on the other hand, thought the current situation was different from 6 years ago. The other side wasn't just operating on international shipping routes, but also relied on Uncle Cao's power, so he could only stay at Haoyun to keep an eye on things. However, after the police suddenly showed up last time, Zhang Xian definitely wouldn't let him get close to important matters easily anymore. Hearing that, Captain Su advised Chun-Yi not to go too deep into it, to avoid having the police investigation accidentally involve him. After that, he asked about Miao Jing and found out she had moved out. And even though Chun-Yi wanted to make it up to her, he didn't know where to start. Captain Su laughed and said all girls like to be cared for and to have someone take the lead in making up with them. Therefore, Chun-Yi should be patient, apologize, and look for a chance to fix things. He shouldn't let Miao Jing worry anymore. The next morning, Chun-Yi went to see Zhang Xian. As soon as they met, Zhang Xian said that Boss Lu had just called to say thanks because the cargo ship almost got checked by the police, but luckily the situation was turned around in time. Then he showed Chun-Yi the data report, where the audit risk warnings were getting more serious and could likely affect Hongshan's plans. Zhang Xian also revealed that Miao Jing had taken the lead to take responsibility for this whole problem, and then reminded Chun-Yi not to forget that they were both currently in the same boat. Hearing those words, Chun-Yi just quietly nodded. Right after that, at the company, while looking over the audit report, Chun-Yi noticed that the risk assessment part was a bit too serious. Miao Jing calmly explained that she had to ensure the audit results were the most objective and accurate. Plus, this assessment was only sent to the Hong Shun group as a reference, and wasn't the final conclusion yet. Hearing that, Chun-Yi asked if Shun Ming would be the one directly in charge of following this project closely. Miao Jing replied that if he wasn't comfortable, he could totally monitor the entire process. Seeing Chun-Yi didn't say anything else, she just hoped the project would end soon, and then called an end to the meeting. After going outside, Chun-Yi kept wondering why Miao Jing insisted on signing the audit report. He kept advising her not to get involved in dangerous things anymore because he was scared he wouldn't be able to protect her. According to him, Zhang Xian was much more dangerous than the risks in her past audits. But Miao Jing calmly said that she wasn't that girl from years ago anymore. In Chun-Yi's eyes, he always thought he had to protect her, but he never realized that she was strong enough now and didn't need to be protected like before. After work, Lily suddenly went to meet Shin Ming. Meanwhile, Miao Jing took the initiative to invite Captain Su to dinner. During the meal, she asked him straight out what Chun-Yi was currently doing between his team and Hao Yun. Captain Su avoided answering directly, and asked her back that if Chun-Yi had passed the police academy years ago and had to do things he couldn't talk about because of his mission, would she blame him? Miao Jing shook her head slightly, saying that if it were meaningful work, she naturally wouldn't blame him. She never stopped believing in Chun-Yi. She just wanted to do something herself because she didn't want him to always be caught up in things because of her. Hearing those words, Captain Su understood that it would be hard for him to help the two of them settle this conflict. That night, lying alone in bed, Miao Jing tossed and turned and couldn't sleep. Only the image of Chun-Yi appeared in her mind. She didn't know what to do to make the best choice for both of them. The next morning, Miao Jing went to the bank to ask about an insurance policy that was about to expire. After checking, the bank teller said that on the 19th of the month, some money would be transferred into the account. But by rule, they couldn't reveal the identity of the person who bought the insurance. Actually, the person who secretly bought that insurance policy for Miao Jing was her mother. That evening, Chun-Yi called Bazi to ask if there was any way to see Miao Jing's social media page. Hearing that, Bazi just sighed and said if he wanted to know, he should go ask Miao Jing to let him see it himself, which just made Chun-Yi sigh in helplessness. The next morning, Mrs. Wei Zhen suddenly came to Chun-Yi's house. He was surprised and asked her why she was looking for Miao Jing, while also letting her know she didn't live here anymore. Mrs. Zhan said she kept calling but couldn't get in touch with her daughter, so she was very worried. Chun-Yi couldn't help but feel bitter, blaming her that if she was so worried, then why did she leave Miao Jing with him back then? She kept asking if the two of them were still just like siblings now. Chun-Yi just coldly replied that when she handed Miao Jing over to him that year, she didn't think about the consequences at all, and then he turned around and went upstairs. After that, at the beer shop, Chun-Yi asked Bazi to contact Fei Long and Ajio to investigate what Wei Zhen had been doing and how she had been living over the past years. On the other side, Mrs. Zhen kept texting Miao Jing, saying how much she missed her and wanted to see her daughter. Even though she didn't reply, Miao Jing still sat in silence and thought for a long time. When it was time to get coffee, she was so lost in thought that she almost overfilled her cup, but luckily Ming Tong helped her just in time. Chun-Yi just stood quietly at a distance watching, and then secretly left. Right after that, Ming Tong told Miao Jing that on Hao Yun's financial books, there was a deficit being hidden very well. Miao Jing noted that if Zhang Xian wanted to fill that loss, he would definitely make a move soon. A little while later, Xiaoyu handed out wedding candy to everyone because she had just bought a new house, and the whole office happily congratulated her. Seeing that, Ma Yang also shared that his parents always wanted to transfer a big house in their name to him, but he refused because he didn't want to live his whole life following a plan set by others. Those words made Miao Jing suddenly remember her mother and sink into thought. Meanwhile, Wei Zhen went to a jewelry store to pick out a bracelet for her daughter. She looked at the exact same style that Miao Jing used to really like years ago, but back then, she was too busy with work and didn't care about what her daughter wanted at all. This time, she decided to buy that bracelet as a way to make it up to her. Memories take everything back to 2006. Back then, Miao Jing had a very high fever in the dorm and kept calling her mom, but no one picked up. By the time a teacher found out about her condition and called Wei Zhen, she just hurriedly said she was really busy and hung up right away. That exact moment made Miao Jing feel completely let down by her mother. In the present, Wei Zhen finally managed to meet Miao Jing. She kept looking for things to talk about and hoped to go for a walk with her daughter. But Miao Jing just calmly brought up every time she had been abandoned by her mother. Then she frankly told her that if there was something, just say it and stop beating around the bush. Wei Zhen said with a lump in her throat that she came back this time simply because she wanted to visit her. Hearing that, Miao Jing coldly replied, "We've met and you've visited. If you want to go back, I'll find someone to take you." But Wei Zhen still stood there quietly, not wanting to leave yet. Wei Zhen went to the store to exchange for 10 coins to play the claw machine. Actually, she just wanted to stretch out a little more time with her daughter before their 2-hour meeting ended. Miao Jing thought her mom only came back to find her because she had just broken up with a boyfriend. Years ago, Wei Zhen was always busy with work and her lovers. Even though she knew her daughter loved the claw machine, she never spent time with her. She would just leave some lunch money and rush off, making Miao Jing feel really lonely back then. Now, Wei Zhen kept trying but couldn't grab a single plushie. Meanwhile, 2 students were standing behind her waiting for their turn. Seeing this, Miao Jing stepped up and easily grabbed a plush toy in just one try. Wei Zhen was happy and wanted to give the gift to her daughter, but Miao Jing coldly said that was all stuff from when she was a kid. Those words made Wei Zhen go silent, her eyes full of regret. Later at the restaurant, Wei Zhen took out a gold bracelet, hoping to make up for some of the things her daughter had to go without. But Miao Jing firmly refused. She said she had gone to see Chen Yi because she thought her daughter was still there. Hearing that, Miao Jing said bitterly that now her mom was all alone with no one to lean on, which was why she came back for her. Wei Zhen quickly explained that she wasn't lacking money and didn't need to lean on anyone. She truly just wanted to make it up to her daughter. Saying that, she gently put the gold bracelet on Miao Jing's wrist and said emotionally that as long as her daughter was willing to come out and see her, she was satisfied. Since the last bus back to Pengqing was gone, Miao Jing had to take her mom to a hotel for the night. Even though she still looked cold and annoyed on the outside, deep down she felt happy being cared for by her mother. Because no matter how much they grow up, every child still needs a mother's love. Before they parted, Wei Zhen softly mentioned that in a few days it was her grandmother's death anniversary and hoped Miao Jing could go back to Jiangxing with her because she didn't have the courage to go there alone. Miao Jing stayed silent and just turned to leave. As soon as she got back to her room, Miao Jing sat in silence with her thoughts all over the place. At that moment, Chen Yi texted her, saying if she wasn't used to being out, she should come home, but she didn't reply. The next day at work, Miao Jing decided not to go back to the hotel anymore. Following her request, Mingtong drove her to Chen Yi's house. But as soon as she walked in, Miao Jing saw Lily there, so she immediately misunderstood that Chen Yi and Lily were together. Seeing the awkward atmosphere, Mingtong was about to take Miao Jing back to the hotel to avoid bothering them. However, Chen Yi immediately said, "What's the bother about Miao Jing coming home?" Lily also quickly explained that things weren't at all like she thought. Miao Jing didn't say anything else. She just told Lily to hurry and dry her hair. Right then, Xiao Bao ran over to Lily. Miao Jing turned to ask Chen Yi if he had prepared dinner. He said there was hot pot ready, and they could eat in just a bit. After hearing that, Miao Jing said goodbye to Ming Tong and went inside the house. Meanwhile, at the hotel, Wei Zhen was peeling an apple and about to take it to her daughter's room, only to find out that Miao Jing had already left. Inside Chen Yi's house, Lily gently explained to Miao Jing that whenever something happens, she usually comes here for shelter because Chen Yi has a lot of respect and no one dares to cause trouble. Hearing that, Miao Jing said nothing. She just quietly picked up the hairdryer to dry Xiao Bao's hair. Out in the living room, Chen Yi was busy getting everything ready for the hot pot. Just as everything was peaceful, Yang Dequan suddenly showed up at Chen Yi's house to pick a fight. Without hesitating, Chen Yi splashed a basin of water right in his face, but he still refused to leave and started making a loud scene for the neighbors to hear, claiming he was being kept from seeing his son Xiao Bao. Lily angrily yelled right at his face, saying he had never once seen Xiao Bao as his own son. But Yang Dequan wouldn't stop causing a mess and forced Lily to give him money, or else he would take Xiao Bao away. After hearing just a few words, Miao Jing guessed right away that he was a gambler who had lost all his money, and that was why he came looking for Lily for cash. She immediately gave him 2 choices: get lost right now, or let her call the police. Seeing Miao Jing actually calling the police, Yang Dequan had to leave, but before he went, he didn't forget to drop a threat that he would be back. Lily sincerely thanked Miao Jing, and Chen Yi just quietly smiled seeing her being so strong and decisive. During the hot pot meal, Lily curiously asked how Miao Jing guessed correctly that Yang Dequan was a gambler. Miao Jing just laughed and said she was actually just playing a psychological game. To solve a problem, you don't always need to make it a big deal, you just have to hit the opponent's weakness to get results. When the whole group clinked their beer cans together, Xiao Bao innocently asked if that meant they were a family now, because he lives with his mom, and the aunt and uncle also live together. In Xiao Bao's eyes, his mom is great, and Aunt Miao Jing is also great. Hearing that, Miao Jing smiled and said Xiao Bao's mom is actually the best one. That answer made Chen Yi unable to stop himself from laughing, and then the 4 of them continued to gather around the steaming hot pot in a very warm atmosphere. At night, while helping Xiao Bao go to sleep, Lily told Miao Jing that she has always loved dancing. But after having Xiao Bao, she couldn't keep chasing her dream because of her C-section scar and being so busy taking care of the kid. What she regrets most is not knowing if Xiao Bao will blame her for it when he grows up. Hearing that, Miao Jing gently comforted her, saying Lily was an amazing mother and Xiao Bao would definitely always feel her love. Then she softly said, "If my mom could have been like you, Lily, maybe my childhood would have been a lot happier." Those words left Lily stunned, and she could only pat Miao Jing's shoulder gently to comfort her. Out in the living room, Chen Yi quietly leaned on the sofa with a nostalgic smile. He remembered the childhood years when Wei Zhen and his dad would fight all the time. Every time that happened, he would give his music player to Miao Jing, so she wouldn't have to hear the bitter words coming from outside. The next morning when Miao Jing woke up, she saw that Chen Yi had already prepared breakfast on the table. As soon as she sat down to eat, she asked when Lily had left. Chen Yi said she had headed back early in the morning to open her shop on time. Then Miao Jing said that next break, she would go back to Jiangxing with her mother. Hearing that, Chen Yi immediately wanted to go along, but Miao Jing just said they'd figure that out later. He suggested again that she move back in here, but Miao Jing only gave a vague answer. At the office, Ming Tong announced that word came from the port city that Baiju's capital chain was having issues, and many small shareholders had started dumping their stock. While looking at the report, Miao Jing was surprised to see Lu Bo's name, the person who had shown up at that dinner with Zhang Xian. She secretly wondered if it was just a business partnership, why Zhang Xian specifically invited Chen Yi when he hadn't even joined Hao Yin yet. Meanwhile, at the hotel, Wei Jin seemed to be sick because she was constantly taking medicine. When she read the message that Miao Jing agreed to go back to Jiangxing with her, she couldn't hide her joy and was deeply moved. In Port City, Ming Tong and Miao Jing went to a plushie store to look for an item with a code that matched the photo she had taken. With the help of the staff, Miao Jing finally understood the meaning of the code printed on that toy. At Hao Yin, Chen Yi went back to the office but still didn't see Miao Jing back from her business trip. In the days after that, he just quietly counted each day, hoping she would return soon. De Yong and Ba Zi both noticed the longing in his heart. Chen Yi then asked what to do to make up after an argument. Ba Zi suggested that to win over a girl, you have to know how to humble yourself, because every girl likes it when the person they love takes the lead in smoothing things over. Right then, Li Qiao walked up and pinched Ba Zi's ear for acting like a know-it-all, which immediately made the atmosphere more cheerful. Right after that, Chen Yi and De Yong went to Ba Zi's house for dinner. During the meal, Ba Zi curiously asked what had been going on between him and Miao Jing lately. Chen Yi could only sigh and admit that even he didn't understand what Miao Jing was thinking. Ba Zi acted like he knew everything and claimed that girls often say one thing but think another, so doing the opposite is the way to go. Just as he finished speaking, he got his ear pinched by Li Qiao again for acting like a life coach. Even so, Ba Zi wouldn't stay quiet and kept advising Chen Yi to act cute with Miao Jing. Li Qiao then gave some serious advice, saying the most important thing is to find the real problem between the two people instead of just letting things stay vague. If you want a happy relationship, both people have to work on it together. If only one person tries, it will lose balance sooner or later. She advised Chen Yi to start with the smallest things, like taking the lead to call and ask if Miao Jing finished work yet, if she's tired, or if she has eaten. Hearing those words, De Yong immediately praised Li Qiao as a true love master. After dinner, Chen Yi wandered the street alone, constantly struggling with himself. Finally, he worked up all his courage to call Miao Jing, gently asking if she had finished work and eaten well. Hearing that, Miao Jing teased him, asking if he already lost his appetite just because she left. Chen Yi just quietly said, uh-huh. Hearing that answer, Miao Jing smiled and said she missed him a lot, then told him to remember to eat well and wait for her to come back. Those words made Chen Yi unable to hide his joy, a smile staying on his face, while Miao Jing on the other end of the line was just as happy. When he got home, Chen Yi immediately marked the 29th on the calendar, because in just 2 more days, Miao Jing would return. He kept looking for things to do, just hoping time would pass faster, so he would have an excuse to call her. But right then, Ma Yang suddenly called with news that Miao Jing's mother had just fainted in the hotel and had been taken to the First People's Hospital for emergency care. Hearing the news, Chen Yi didn't hesitate for a second and rushed straight to the hospital. As soon as Chen Yi arrived at the hospital, Ma Yang handed him the papers to finish the admission procedures. While filling in the info, Chen Yi told everyone not to tell Miao Jing for now. He would take care of everything first. Then Chen Yi, along with Xiao Yu and Ma Yang, quietly waited outside the emergency room. Everyone was on edge and worried. A while later, the doctor came out to announce the patient was out of critical danger. However, the test results showed that breast cancer cells had spread to the lungs and liver, which is stage 4. If her health recovers well, she can continue chemotherapy. If not, the situation will be very complicated. Therefore, the family should be mentally prepared. Hearing that news, Chen Yi was stunned and couldn't hide his shock. Then he told Xiao Yu and Ma Yang to go home and rest, while he would stay at the hospital to keep watch. Not long after, the doctor came again to warn that the patient's condition was still very critical and needed someone to watch over her constantly during the treatment. On the way back, Ma Yang wondered if Wei Zhen was Chen Yi's stepmother. Xiao Yu replied that Miao Jing very rarely mentioned family matters, only once saying her mother had come to Dengxing. From that, they both realized the relationship between Miao Jing and Chen Yi was absolutely not just being siblings in name only. About half an hour later, Wei Zhen woke up. Seeing she showed signs of recovery, Chen Yi softly said that Miao Jing would return tonight. Then he left the room and quietly stood waiting at the hospital gate to pick her up. When getting into the elevator, Miao Jing told Chen Yi to go home and rest, but he insisted on staying with her. After that, Miao Jing quietly went into the room to visit her mother. Looking at Wei Zhen, lying on the hospital bed with a thin and weak body, she couldn't hide her worry and pain. A while after Wei Zhen woke up, she just gently reassured her daughter that she was fine and not to worry too much. Miao Jing said she would hire a caregiver because she had to work the next morning, and Wei Zhen just quietly shed tears at her daughter's care. Outside, Ba Zi called to tell Chen Yi the investigation results. It turned out Wei Zhen once had another husband in Pangxing. That family was well off and had a son who is currently in middle school. Also, they found info about a high-value insurance policy she once bought, but later there was no trace of it. Before this, Wei Zhen had also been in the hospital for a while, but because that husband couldn't handle the costs, they had broken up. Meanwhile, Miao Jing went to see the doctor to ask more about her mother's condition. She was told Wei Zhen had terminal breast cancer. The current treatment plan was mainly to reduce pain and prolong life. She had used medicine before but stopped halfway, making the cancer cells spread. When Miao Jing asked with a lump in her throat how much longer her mother could live, the doctor just quietly shook his head and said 1 month at most. If she wanted to extend that time, the only way was chemotherapy, but the cost would be extremely high. Hearing those words, Miao Jing went numb, feeling like the whole world under her feet was falling apart. When they stepped out into the hospital hallway, Chen Yi told Miao Jing that tomorrow he would handle the paperwork to move Wei Zhen to a private room and then head home to grab some extra clothes and basic supplies. Miao Jing softly said that she still wanted her mom to keep up with the treatment, and Chen Yi nodded in agreement, then gently brushed her hair as a way to comfort and encourage her. The next morning, the caregiver came to take care of Wei Zhen and blurted out a complaint, saying that the mom was seriously ill yet the kids were nowhere to be seen. Hearing that, Wei Zhen quickly spoke up to defend her daughter, saying that Miao Jing had to work and would come to visit later. By the afternoon, even though she didn't feel like eating, as soon as she saw Miao Jing show up, Wei Zhen tried to eat a few bites just to put her daughter's mind at ease. Miao Jing then told the caregiver to go home and rest, and she would take care of her mom herself for the rest of the time. When she found out her daughter had taken time off to stay at the hospital, Wei Zhen gave her a playful scolding, saying that a woman without money has nothing, and she shouldn't let her work suffer because of her. Miao Jing didn't reply. She just quietly turned on the TV to change the subject. When night came, the pain got so intense that Wei Zhen couldn't lie still. She mentioned she wanted to go downstairs for a walk because lying down for too long was making her whole body ache. Miao Jing immediately pushed the wheelchair to take her mom outside for some fresh air, hoping she would feel a little bit better. While taking her mom for a walk, Wei Zhen suddenly asked Miao Jing if she would burn Joss paper for her after she passed away. And she even told her to burn a lot if she did. After saying that, she transferred all her remaining money to Miao Jing, only hoping that her daughter would remember to burn Joss paper for her every year. Hearing those words, Miao Jing didn't say a thing. She just quietly pushed the wheelchair to take her mom back to the hospital room to rest. Outside the hospital, Chen Yi sat in his car, feeling restless and uneasy because he was always worrying about Miao Jing. When she woke up the next morning, Miao Jing saw that her mother was gone. She immediately panicked and called Chen Yi, and then they split up and ran all over the hospital to search for her. After searching in desperation for a while, Miao Jing found her mother in the bathroom, quietly putting on makeup. She just didn't want to become a haggard and useless woman in her final moments. She wanted to go out looking her best, but the pain quickly hit her, making her writhe in agony. In that moment, she still tried to promise Miao Jing that if there is a next life, she would definitely be a good mother. Those words left Miao Jing stunned. Right after that, she watched in shock as her mother took her last breath right in front of her. After so many ups and downs, Miao Jing finally became an orphan. She remembered the childhood years when she had to live at her uncle's house and was always bullied by her aunt. When Wei Zhen brought her home, she thought she finally had a real home and wouldn't be lonely or helpless anymore. But then her mom still left her, and now that separation has become permanent. From that moment on, both Miao Jing and Chen Yi had no parents by their side. Amidst the mounting losses, the two of them could only lean on each other to keep moving forward and face the harsh life ahead. When Shen Ming called Miao Jing, Chen Yi picked up right away and said she needed to rest for a few days. After that, he turned to hug Miao Jing, silently comforting her while she was drowning in the pain of losing her mother. Right after that, Chen Yi called Captain Su for help. Thanks to that, a hearse with a cooling unit was brought over to handle the necessary procedures. Miao Jing walked into the morgue to see her mother one last time. That moment made her heart ache to the point of choking up. She realized that the time she spent with her mother was really too short because most of her childhood was spent being left behind by her mother. By the time she returned and gave her hope for a complete family, fate cruelly took her away once again. After confirming her mother's identity, Miao Jing walked out to sign her name and finish the paperwork. But as soon as she put the pen down, a feeling of pain and suffocation suddenly hit her and she couldn't take it, immediately running outside to breathe. Not long after, the memorial service for Wei Zhen was held, and throughout the ceremony, Miao Jing seemed to lose all emotion, her eyes soulless, unable to believe that the mother who just came back to her side was now gone forever. As she bowed to say her last goodbye to her mother, a group of people suddenly showed up, demanding the family pay a debt of over 200,000 yuan that Wei Zhen left behind. Miao Jing immediately took them outside to talk. These people said that Wei Zhen was 2 months late on payments, and since Miao Jing's info was in the loan contract, that's how they found her. While checking the contract, Chen Yi discovered it was a loan with an extremely high interest rate. Miao Jing also stated that the debt borrowed by her mother had nothing to do with her. Seeing the group keep pressuring her, Chen Yi immediately stepped up to protect Miao Jing, telling them to leave before things got tense. When both sides were about to get into a scuffle, Captain Su showed up just in time as a police officer and asked to see the contract. After checking it, Captain Su said they could settle the principal, but the pay double what you borrow deal with a crazy interest rate was completely invalid. Although that group still refused to accept it, saying a loan must be repaid, Miao Jing just wanted them to leave for now so they could find a way to settle it for good later. In the end, that group had to leave. As Captain Su went inside to pay his respects, Chinny quietly held Miao Jing's hand as a way to reassure her that he was always by her side. With a lump in her throat, Miao Jing remembered the old days when her mother picked her up from her aunt's house, brought her to Dengsheng to give her a home, and bought her new dresses, helping her temporarily forget the pain of the past. Chun-Yi gently hugged Miao Jing, comforting her that whether things were good or heartbreaking, they were all in the past now. The most important thing right now is that she shouldn't keep blaming and tormenting herself. While preparing an item to put in the urn before it was handed over, Miao Jing quietly put in the gold bracelet that Wei Zhen had once bought for her. That was also the last gift her mother left for her. After that, Miao Jing, Chun-Yi, and Captain Su stood quietly outside waiting for the cremation process to finish. Somewhere else, Zhang Xian held a photo taken with Zhai Mao and said thoughtfully, "My old brother, please bless this route to always be safe. Let everything go smoothly, without any mistakes happening." Right then, Tao Jiang walked in to report. "As long as we get through this round, next month the plan can be officially carried out. However, the police have been watching very closely lately." Zhang Xian only calmly replied, "For the last 6 years, Captain Su has never let up on watching me, so I'm already used to it." That evening, Chun-Yi and Miao Jing took Wei Zhen's urn home. Since they still hadn't found a suitable burial place, they temporarily placed the urn here. Before Miao Jing went back to the hotel, Chun-Yi told her to get some good rest. "If anything happens, just call him anytime." Miao Jing nodded slightly and then quietly left. During work hours, Miao Jing kept looking up information about public cemeteries to find a place to bury her mother's ashes. Because she was so stressed out, she had been living on coffee for the past few days. Seeing that, Chun-Yi brought her a cup of hot tea. Right after that, Chun-Yi said he had booked tickets and wanted to take Miao Jing to Jiangsheng for a change of scenery to help her ease her sadness. Miao Jing quietly nodded in agreement. Right then, Ming Tong walked up holding a cup of hot tea, but as soon as he saw the two of them talking, he quietly turned around and left. After that, Chun-Yi went to see Zhang Xian to ask for a few days off. Zhang Xian only told him to arrange the work properly and not let things go well on one side while failing on the other. Chun-Yi bowed in agreement and then left the office. Not long after, Tao Jiang walked in and reported that someone had come to cause trouble at the construction site again, but everything had been settled. After hearing that, Zhang Xian warned him absolutely not to become someone who only knows loyalty but lacks brains. Tao Jiang wondered why Chun-Yi was asking for time off right now, but Zhang Xian only smiled, thinking that this was the perfect chance to carry out the luring the tiger out of the mountains plan. The next morning at the bus station, Miao Jing still looked dazed. After finishing the paperwork, Chun-Yi returned to her side and said gently that by the afternoon, they would both be in Jiangsheng. While waiting in line to board, a thief secretly unzipped Miao Jing's bag to steal something. But as soon as he saw the urn inside, he jumped back in shock. Chun-Yi immediately restrained him, and the police quickly showed up to ask for IDs. When the thief tried to run away, he was caught right on the spot. Getting on the bus, many passengers saw Chun-Yi and Miao Jing carrying the urn, so they all quietly moved to sit further away. However, the two of them didn't care about the looks around them at all. Chun-Yi took out some bread and a sausage and gave them to Miao Jing to have a quick bite. Seeing him always quietly taking care of her every little bit, Miao Jing was moved and softly said that it was really good to have him by her side. After the long bus ride, the two finally stepped foot in Jiangsheng. After that, Chun-Yi and Miao Jing caught a taxi to Nanshan Cemetery. On the way, Miao Jing asked why he thought about bringing her back to Jiangsheng. Chun-Yi gently said that lately she only knew how to bury herself in work to forget the pain, so he wanted to take her for a change of scenery to feel better. Plus, bringing Wei Zhen back to Jiangsheng to rest was like helping Miao Jing fulfill the final wish for her mother. Arriving at the cemetery, Miao Jing took her mother's urn to the burial plot she had prepared beforehand. After the staff finished the burial, she and Chun-Yi quietly bowed to say their last goodbye to Wei Zhen. Standing in front of the grave, Miao Jing slowly talked about her childhood in Jiangsheng. She said when she was a kid, she liked winter the most because she got to watch the snow fall, and she also looked forward to the new year. After so many years of waiting for the new year, her mother finally came to pick her up, making her think she had finally found happiness. But that happiness was too short, because not long after, she was left behind in another place. Thinking about that, Miao Jing's tears kept falling. She painfully realized that from now on, she truly didn't have a mother anymore. Seeing her break down, Chun-Yi immediately hugged Miao Jing tight, gently comforting her and affirming that from now on, he would always be by her side. Right at that moment, it suddenly started to rain. The two of them stopped at a roadside stall to eat skewers. While chatting, Chun-Yi said that later they could open a small shop right in Jiangsheng. She would work the day shift, and he would work the night shift. Just a peaceful life would be enough. Miao Jing gave a sad smile and reminded him, "Before, you were the one who always wanted me to study hard to have a steady job, and now you want to open a small shop. Isn't that too much of a loss for me?" Chun-Yi just gave a self-mocking laugh and admitted that he was too stubborn in the past. Hearing those words, the pain in Miao Jing's heart broke out again. She leaned on Chun-Yi's shoulder and burst into tears. When the rain slowly stopped, the two of them walked slowly together through the streets of Jiangsheng. In the evening, while sitting on the Ferris wheel looking at the bright city views, Chun-Yi took out the gold bracelet he once promised to give Miao Jing. He softly gave it to her and promised to always be by her side, making Miao Jing feel full of happiness. The next morning, Chun-Yi took Miao Jing to work as usual. But right after she went up to the office, he suddenly got an anonymous call. The person on the other end claimed Chun-Yi was the one who killed Zhai Mao and that they would definitely come back for revenge, which left him feeling confused. At that exact moment, while Miao Jing was working, she got news that a fire had broken out at the beer shop and Chun-Yi had rushed inside to save someone. Without hesitating, she immediately ran to the scene. Facing the intense fire, even though Bazi and De Yong tried their best to stop her, Miao Jing still decided to run in to find Chun-Yi. A flashback takes everyone back to 2005. Back then, Zhai Mao ordered Chun-Yi to stand outside where Lu Wen was working overtime to watch the situation and report any changes. While waiting, Chun-Yi secretly called Captain Su. When the fire suddenly broke out, he didn't care about the danger and rushed in to save Lu Wen. In her final moments, Lu Wen only had enough time to reveal where the documents were hidden before she took her last breath in the middle of the flames. Back then, Miao Jing also wanted to run in to save Chun-Yi despite everything, but Captain Su stopped her to let the rescue team do their job. Later, Chun-Yi was taken out exhausted, but Lu Wen didn't make it, which caused Captain Su extreme pain. Back in the present, Miao Jing rushed into the fire while constantly calling Chun-Yi's name. It turned out he hadn't escaped yet because he went back to save a boy trapped inside. Finally, the rescue team successfully saved both of them. A while later at the hospital, Chun-Yi woke up and was immediately hugged tight by Miao Jing in relief after the life and death experience. In the following days, she stayed by his side to take care of him. Even though Chun-Yi told her many times to go home and rest, Miao Jing absolutely wouldn't agree, which made him just smile helplessly. The next morning, when she got to the room and didn't see Chun-Yi anywhere, Miao Jing panicked and went looking for him, thinking he had quietly left again. It turned out he was just brushing his teeth in the bathroom, and Chun-Yi couldn't help but laugh because she always thought of the worst things. From then on, Miao Jing almost never left Chun-Yi's side, always afraid he would disappear again. She even lay next to him on the hospital bed and blamed him for always keeping his distance from her, saying he'd rather have Bazi take care of him than her. Chun-Yi just gently replied that he didn't want the person he loved to work hard for him. Hearing that, Miao Jing claimed they would be together for a long time, so there would definitely be many more times they'd have to take care of and rely on each other. Chun-Yi smiled and gently hugged her as a way of agreeing. After a few days of treatment, Chun-Yi was discharged, and Miao Jing took him home, where the two finally got to enjoy peaceful moments after a series of storms. That night, they didn't hold back their feelings and shared a deep kiss, officially starting a new chapter in their relationship. When she woke up the next morning, Miao Jing saw that Chun-Yi had gotten up early to clean the house. She quietly walked over and hugged him tight from behind, not wanting to let go. In that simple moment, they both just hoped time would slow down so they could enjoy the peaceful and happy life together that they had sacrificed so much to get. The next morning, Tao Jiang went to see Sun Hu's group, gave them 160,000 yuan in subsidies, and asked them to finish one last mission for Zhang Xian. Meanwhile at the office, Shen Ming played Go with Miao Jing while analyzing that Hao Yun's books had a deficit lasting from when Hong Xin started investing, which was also when the business results turned from loss to profit. From that data, Miao Jing guessed Zhang Xian would definitely look for a way to cover that deficit. He wanted to open a new transport route, but because that route wasn't transparent and was always watched by the police, the only way was to blame someone else. That evening, Miao Jing and Chun-Yi went to the old warehouse to meet Old Bai to find out the situation. Seeing him sick, they immediately took him to the hospital. After checking, the doctor concluded Old Bai had diabetes and had been in contact with toxic substances for at least a month. What the doctor didn't understand was that he often transported dangerous goods but didn't have any protective gear. Hearing that, Miao Jing and Chun-Yi immediately took the stuffed bear from the shipment Old Bai once transported to Captain Su to check. The results showed that it contained germanium metal inside. This discovery made Chun-Yi realize they almost had enough evidence, only missing one chance to officially arrest the whole ring. Back home, while Chun-Yi was drying Miao Jing's hair, he analyzed their whole transport method. He almost understood the operating rules. Old Bai's truck was a light-duty truck, taking advantage of the distance between the checkpoint and the border to swap vehicles, change license plates, and turn the black-plated truck into a white-plated truck before going through the border. From that info, Miao Jing also discovered that the stuffed bears with codes starting with the number 7 weren't in circulation on the market at all, because that was the symbol used to disguise the smuggling operation. Putting aside all the work pressure, Miao Jing suddenly jumped onto Chun-Yi's bed and pulled him down to lie next to her. That night, the two just quietly hugged and fell into a peaceful sleep after a series of stressful days. The next evening, when Sun Hu drove the cargo truck through the checkpoint, he was immediately stopped by Captain Su and taken to the station. As soon as he saw Chun-Yi, Sun Hu got furious. In that situation, Captain Su didn't forget to remind Chun-Yi to be very careful. At that moment, Zhang Xian drove to the police station. He acted cooperative, claiming he wouldn't let his subordinates cause more trouble for the authorities, and then invited Chun-Yi and Miao Jing into the car to talk. Then, Zhang Xian took them both to the beer shop to relax. While playing, Miao Jing took the lead and asked about the new transport route. She thought the plan had been ruined by Sun Hu, so Zhang Xian must still have a backup plan. He just calmly replied that the remaining routes would rely on Chen Yi, and he looked at what Chen Yi had gone through in Jinghua as just a small challenge. Hearing that, Miao Jing was no longer in the mood to keep playing pool, quietly put the cue down and walked out. At that same time, on the way back to the hotel, Xiao Yu suddenly discovered someone was quietly following her. The feeling of being watched made her very confused and scared. The next morning, Miao Jing told Chen Yi that this time she would be the one to take the lead. After saying that, she took his hand and walked into Hao Yun's appreciation gala together. At the party, Zhang Xian praised Chen Yi in front of everyone. He said if Chen Yi hadn't gone to Jinghua that year, he would have been promoted to vice president long ago. He also mentioned the time Chen Yi had to fight in the arena and race for gangs in Jinghua to be able to return home safely. To recognize those contributions, Zhang Xian announced he would give 5% of his personal shares as a year-end reward to Chen Yi as a way of sharing hardships together. Right after that, Zhang Xian took the lead to talk to Miao Jing. He thought maybe she just found out about Chen Yi's past today, but everyone has things they don't want to bring up. In response, Miao Jing just gently put her hand on Chen Yi's chest as a way of saying she trusted him completely. After the party, the whole audit team immediately went back to work. But Shen Ming suddenly announced that the entire Hao Yun audit project would pause, and the whole team had to go back to Haiqing the next morning. Miao Jing asked to stay for a few more days to handle personal business, and Shen Ming agreed. Right after that, Miao Jing went to the police station to meet Sun Hu. She said straight out that he had been made a scapegoat by Zhang Xian. Hearing that, Sun Hu told the whole story from 2006. Back then, Zhang Xian led the group to do logistics, but only paid a tiny salary. Then, he purged all the veteran employees one by one. Right when the police announced Zhai Mao went missing and people were in a mess, Zhang Xian didn't pay a single cent in subsidies. Yet less than a month later, he had pulled a large amount of capital from the port city. That testimony made Miao Jing even more sure that all the fake mine books were set up by Zhang Xian. Meanwhile, Chen Yi at home quietly packed Miao Jing's bags. He carefully arranged every item as if he didn't want to miss anything. The next morning, as Miao Jing was getting ready to board her flight, Chen Yi appeared out of nowhere, pulled her to a quiet corner, and gave her a deep kiss before they parted. Miao Jing told him to be very careful staying alone at Hao Yun, and believed that the next time they met would be under a beautiful sky. After those lingering words, she got on her flight back. When she landed in Xinqing to wait for her connecting flight to Haiqing, Miao Jing stopped at a roast goose noodle shop for a meal. To her surprise, the shop owner was actually Zhai Mao. He had gotten married and opened a shop to live a peaceful life. Miao Jing discovered he was there. Back in Haiqing during the report to Hongshen, Miao Jing presented a bunch of evidence showing that Hao Yun had used tricks to hide the truth and attract investment capital. That evidence made Monica extremely angry, but she couldn't handle it immediately. After work, Miao Jing went home, missing Chen Yi terribly. In Dengsheng, Chen Yi missed her every day too. Even though they were far apart, their hearts were always directed at each other. At the police station, Captain Su and his teammates kept studying Zhang Xian's files and the smuggling ring. Just then, he got news from Chen Yi that on the 15th, he would fly to the port city to meet the big boss of the ring. The next morning, Zhang Xian told Chen Yi that he would lead the way for the first shipment himself. Once he was used to the route, all the work would be handed over to Chen Yi. A few days later, Miao Jing returned to Dengsheng, but when she opened the door and walked into the house, she no longer saw Chen Yi there. At that same time, the police were having an emergency meeting to plan the takedown of Lu Bo and the entire smuggling ring in Dengsheng. Before heading out, Chen Yi still managed to secretly call Captain Su to report, preparing for the final battle that was coming very close. On the way to transport the goods, Zhang Xian told Chen Yi that everything he had today was won by gambling. So this time, he also had to win at all costs. The cargo fleet was cruising on the road when it suddenly had to stop because the police set up a checkpoint to check alcohol levels. As soon as he saw Captain Su, Tao Jiang immediately called to report to Zhang Xian. Knowing the plan had changed, Zhang Xian quickly diverted to avoid the control perimeter. When she saw Chen Yi's car suddenly turn into a small road, Miao Jing immediately drove after them. Captain Su checked the stopped car, but only saw Tao Jiang sitting inside, realizing right away that Zhang Xian was indeed an old fox who had a backup plan to distract them. All along the way, Miao Jing persistently stayed close to Zhang Xian's car while constantly calling Captain Su to report the location so the police could deploy forces to chase them. In the car, Zhang Xian suddenly held a knife to Chen Yi's neck because he knew he had fallen into a trap. He didn't stop there. He even stabbed Chen Yi in the stomach to punish the betrayal. Although he was so pale from the pain, Chen Yi gritted his teeth and kept driving. Seeing Miao Jing still determinedly following behind, Zhang Xian got even more furious. He kept forcing Chen Yi to speed up, or else he would kill him right away. On the crowded road, the chase was extremely tense. When Miao Jing's car pulled up parallel, Zhang Xian suddenly steered and slammed into her, making her car lose control and spin many times in the middle of the road. Seeing Miao Jing safely step out of the car, Chen Yi finally breathed a sigh of relief. Right after that, Miao Jing quickly called Captain Su to report the situation, and then took the lead to contact Zhai Mao, wanting to give him a chance to end the old debt with Zhang Xian himself. Flashback takes everyone back to 2005. Back then, Zhai Mao held a knife to Chun Yi's neck and used Miao Jing's life as a threat to force him to hand over the books. Chun Yi accepted, but asked for 500,000 yuan in exchange, and Zhai Mao agreed. After getting the money, Chun Yi purposely said cold words to force Miao Jing to leave for Haiqing. But on the way back, he was suddenly kidnapped. The person who did it was Zhai Mao, but the person who set up the whole plan behind it was Zhang Xian. Back in 2011, Zhang Xian took Chun Yi to an abandoned factory. He flew into a rage when he found out Chun Yi had secretly cooperated with Captain Su to betray him. In response, Chun Yi just laughed mockingly, exposing how Zhang Xian was ready to make his own brother scapegoats for money. Knowing all the secrets were out, Zhang Xian decided to kill Chun Yi. Just at the critical moment, Miao Jing arrived in time to save him. However, because she was weaker, she was repeatedly beaten by Zhang Xian. Chun Yi tried to rush over to protect her, but was stabbed several more times by Zhang Xian. Zhang Xian didn't stop there. He dragged Miao Jing to a high floor, tied a rope to her, and pushed her into the open space below. In a life-or-death moment, Chun Yi ignored his injuries and rushed to catch the rope, leaving Miao Jing hanging in midair. Hearing the police sirens, Zhang Xian immediately ran away. But as soon as he got downstairs, he was blocked by Zhai Mao and stabbed once to pay back the years of grudge. Even though his body was covered in wounds and the blood wouldn't stop, Chun Yi used all his strength to pull Miao Jing back up. After a final effort, he finally got her to safety. While Zhai Mao was about to finish off Zhang Xian, the police arrived just in time to secure the scene. Finally, both Zhai Mao and Zhang Xian were arrested, while Miao Jing and Chun Yi were quickly taken into an ambulance for emergency care. Right after that, Miao Jing and Chun Yi went to court together to reveal all of Zhang Xian's crimes. In the end, Zhang Xian was sentenced to life in prison, Tao Jiang got 8 years, and Zhai Mao also got life. When all the storms passed, life finally returned to peace. Miao Jing and Chun Yi lived happy days together, also fulfilling the wish for revenge for Lu Wen. Captain Su quietly returned to the wedding dress shop where Lu Wen once tried on a dress years ago. Missing her terribly, he saw her again in his mind wearing the pure white wedding dress. On this side, Chun Yi, Miao Jing, and Boz Zi's group gathered around a hot pot, eating and singing in a very warm and happy atmosphere. After that, Miao Jing and Chun Yi moved to Haiqing together. On the way, they sat and talked about things in the past while watching the sunset. They went to the supermarket together to shop, and Chun Yi became a handyman for the family, so Miao Jing could feel at ease focusing on work. Every day passed simply but full of happiness. The next morning, while watching people play basketball together, Chun Yi shared that before he always thought Miao Jing would live better without him. But since she returned to Dengqing, he wanted to push her away and hoped she would stay at the same time. Finally, he realized as long as Miao Jing needed him, he would always be there because she is the most important person in his life. Hearing those words, Miao Jing gave him a kiss full of love. Right after that, Ba Zi and De Yong came to Haiqing to meet Chun Yi. Ba Zi gave back a bank card and reported that the cars and all the previous business had been settled. Chun Yi smiled and gave back the card because he had enough money now. Before leaving, Ba Zi didn't forget to tell him to propose to Miao Jing soon because all girls like surprises. After that, Chun Yi took Ba Zi and De Yong to the beer shop he rented and handed everything over to them to manage. Life for Chun Yi and Miao Jing was very peaceful after that. Every day when Miao Jing finished work, she would fall into Chun Yi's arms to let go of all the tiredness. Finally, Miao Jing sincerely expressed that she didn't need anything else besides Chun Yi. She truly loved him and hoped he loved her a lot too, took the lead to keep her around, and built a peaceful and steady home with her. In response, Chun Yi gave her a passionate kiss and confessed he always felt that God had treated him too well to let him grow up safely, find a way to live many times when he was close to death, and finally meet the person he could love and rely on for his whole life. They held each other tight in happiness, ending the movie with a perfect conclusion. Thanks for following. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel to watch the next exciting movies.